So, what did we create? We're all in immediate contact. And here, look at us. We're in immediate contact. Yeah. Hey, I just saw a Facebook thing just now. Dane, I was coming in and about I seen it about an hour and a half ago. So somebody said, I need to get some advice on buying a new chuck. And I want to get something for under $150 or something like that.
Yeah, I saw that.
That thing is exploding, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
That was like a bomb going off.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's kind of hard to get a quality chuck for $150 or less.
but then you when you make a mistake and do something like that, I'm going to say it, you
Think
make a
twice.
mistake and do something like that because then you've thrown $150 away on something that's
Right.
not going to work for you and it can't be expanded and is limited and might
Yes.
have a gizmo or a gadget that won't work. Um, I my personal opinion, I'm allowed to have one, only one, is I think somebody in Facebook, and I don't do names, said this is it. Pick a line, pick a program,
Yep.
pick a series, pick something you like. Now you like Vicmark, don't you?
Yes.
Okay. I'm a one way kind of guy. And I got that because I bought two used lathes a long time ago, and they each had a one way chuck on them.
Right.
And I just kept growing it. I have about 6 or 8 one way bodies back there. The different ones, the monsters and the regulars and even the really old ones. And I've decided I'm staying in that line.
Right.
I see all these novel things with snap on chucks, snap off chucks, extendable things, and this and that. As long as I can screw them to my one way body and they're a perfect match, I'm all right with that. But
That's how I feel.
no gizmos, no toys.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a solid connection.
You know what? You have to think about this a little bit further than at $150. Tell
Right.
you how far you got to think about it. If you're out there turning, it's a 30-pound block of wood and it's spinning at 2,000 RPMs, and something goes wrong with that chuck. Where do you think that block of wood's going to aim?
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
If you think you had a bad morning waking up and looking in the mirror today, think about tomorrow. If you do get to wake up, there's a whole lot riding on that chuck. Don't bottom line it. Don't bottom line it. I mean, it's one of these things. Well, if I do that, I can't do this. You have to do that. You just have to. I'm not going to say what brand you should go with. I don't like the novelties. I don't like the gizmos and gadgets.
Nope.
And I've here I say that, but I have one ways I change the jaws with my little Black and Decker screw gun type thing that's got very low torque, but but it won't cross thread it and such. But I'm a lazy old dago. I don't necessarily change jaws. I change chucks. And it's when you get accustomed to it, then you realize, well, my jaws are set to the chuck. They're clean. There's no trash under them. They're set up right. They bottomed out, and they rotate. They come in and out smooth, and they lock up nice. That you've got a good setup. Don't mess with it. Don't toy with it. Carl, who's that outlaw out west? Carl Jacobson.
Jacobson.
Yeah, all right. He did something one time. He was changing chucks on his some brand name that he promotes. Snap on, snap off jaws, and I can do it in 35, 40 seconds. And I did a counter video. I said, hey, watch. Choop, choop, choop. I changed my whole chuck in 10 seconds. You know,
Right?
it's
Yeah,
I
Nova
think
came.
we got that jaw set down to 6 seconds now.
you do okay. But you know,
Besides changing jaws, it's not just unsafe, but you've demoed some of these places and two of their chucks tighten left-handed and one tightens right-handed. You get your chuck into something and you go to take it out of a recess and you turn it the wrong way and bust the piece. I'm the same with you. I bought a one-way, I researched chuck. I bought a one-way Talon chuck. I got 10 of them now. And every jaw fits everything. My key fits every one of the chucks. I don't have a hex wrench for one and a gear wrench for another one.
No whammy bars.
Yeah, you got it.
I can't stand those things. Oh my God.
I want to find out. They give you the two whammy bars. Where's the monkey?
Yeah.
That puts one of them must be the wood in.
Jesus Christ. What a pain in the rear. I remember my old Grizzly, it came with its version of a chuck. And I'm just going to say it's a version of a chuck because it's not a real chuck. I don't care what they say. I could never remember, which one is tightening, which one is loosening. It's just such a pain in the ass.
I agree. I got one of those too. Hate it.
I did a workshop with somebody a member of a club I used to belong to. And he had 5 or 6 lathes in the shop, and they were doing a workshop with Ellsworth came over to do it thing. And Doc Lejeune was doing one behind me, and he had a chuck on there that went the opposite. All right, just like you talked about, Jim. And it hit me twice. He turned it on, and boom. I said, what happened? So I went over, Doc, what's going on? I don't know. I tightened it up and it came off. And he was a dear old man. He really was. But he had a conventional chuck, righty tighty, lefty loosey, and all that.
Yeah.
But Doc at the time was in his early 90s, and it wasn't clicking real quick. All right, let's find Doc another lathe. And the funny thing, somebody said, you don't want him to get another lathe, you just want him to get from behind you. So
Yeah, the old Novas are the ones that are counterclockwise. So I've got an old Supernova 2 chuck, and it's counterclockwise. And so I've got tenon and recess. I've got it marked on there which way to turn to make sure that I never forget on it. But the Vic marks, righty tighty, lefty loosey.
yeah, you can't go cheap on a chuck.
No.
And I understand money's money and things get tight and
Right.
you have to do things that you have to do. But remember this, folks, if you cut the corner on safety, and that is safety, you cut the corner on safety, how much of the corner are you cutting off? And please don't look for. I just thank God Harbor Freight doesn't sell something they could call a woodchuck, a scrolling woodchuck. Maybe they do, and I don't know about it. I don't want to know about it. But boy, that would be a nightmare. True, we.
Right.
I think we just had our safety moment.
Yeah.
Well, this is,
They do have a faceplate, Harbor Freight.
and it's very brittle.
Yeah.
I bet.
Don't make it bad. Just crack up
Prime
on it.
example right there.
This
Actually,
is one of the reasons.
I think Harbor Freight does have a chuck, and they call it Grizzly.
And it costs $1.85.
This is one of the reasons. this is one of the reasons why I suggest people join clubs and get in their mentor program so that you can get into somebody's shop and see what kind of chucks and tools and stuff they have. You get a really good idea, use them, you know what I mean? So that you get a chance to try these things out and see what the difference is. I had an interesting thing happen over the weekend. Rikon, when they ship out their little mini lathes, they send one of these low-end chucks with it, okay? Well, if you put, it's just one of these self-tightening things with the sticks, you know?
Yeah, the whammy bars, we were talking about that.
Yeah, and if you get too big a piece on that lathe, and those things will undo themselves no matter how tight you crank them down. And I had that happen a couple times this past weekend, and it's like, what the heck is going on? The tenons are good, you know, we cranked them down tight, and that's, I realized, you know, you get going on too big a piece, and they start to loosen themselves, which is just bad.
Right. Yeah, Doug Miller, he's got one like that. I was watching one of his videos a couple weeks ago, and with that vase you were making, and that thing untightened on you 2-3 different times during your little video.
Yes, it did. And I still have not figured out exactly what the problem is. I think it needs to be disassembled and cleaned. But normally,
You need to go find a stack of papers and set that chuck on it. Just leave it alone.
If I had some dollars to go get a new chuck, I would for sure. I would like to have new chucks, but
right, understandable.
Yeah. But in the meantime, I've got several others. I've got a newer Nova that has the key, and that does a lot better. It's a heavier chuck anyway, but that old original Nova, it has done really well until just recently. It starts to come loose on me for some reason, and I think it just needs to be cleaned well.
Yeah, whatever you do, don't. This is what I'm learning from guy that repairs sewing machines. Do not take it, compressed air to it to clean it out. No, that is a serious mistake. Because where is that dust and dirt going to go?
Further in.
It doesn't.
A couple of years ago, I did I'd asked online in a couple of the groups, like, has anybody cleaned their chucks? What do I do with it? And there's a bunch of suggestions. So I tried a bunch of the different solvents, mineral spirits, DNA, you know, a lot of things. And the thing that worked the best was lacquer thinner. And I figured out, I mean, I do spray lacquer and lacquer-based sanding sealer on the lathe. So that lacquer thinner, probably some of that stuff had probably gotten into the chuck, you know, the jaws tracks or whatever, and caused issues. So, but that stuff, the lacquer thinner really worked really well for me, whereas things like mineral spirits didn't. And I thought the mineral spirits would work well because I'd also sprayed spray paint, but you know, it is with airbrush paint. So it is what it is, but the lacquer thinner is what worked really well for me. So I would encourage people to try all those solvents and see where they go. But
could I say something?
Go ahead, David.
When you guys are using,
Go ahead, David.
When you guys are using your machines, I have a tendency to think that you're doing a disadvantage to your machine by using air hoses. Your air hoses will throw all that dirt right down in the crevices of your tools, and then it eventually is kicking up, and that's what the problem is. Because if you don't use an air hose, then you won't get it down into your ways or whatever you want to do. Whatever, just wipe it off. Take a brush and brush it off, because you're doing a disservice to your machine by using air to try to eliminate everything, but you're just forcing it down into the cracks.
Unless you spend some special time on the cracks as well.
Yeah.
That's all I have to say about that. I mean, I'm just saying that because I see so many people using air hoses to blow off this, blow off that. Well, the thing is, over eventually time, all that stuff is going down in those cracks and you don't realize it. You think you got it clean, but you don't.
Yep. Yep. Unless you're not giving it any special attention, you're exactly right there, Dave.
I had a sewing machine guy that was a genius mechanic. Went and hung with him one afternoon. My wife was getting a new machine, and I said, "What's the biggest problem?" He said, "Canned air." He said, "I sell it on 6 packs of canned air." I said, "That's a problem." He says, "Oh yeah, that just brings me back a ton of business because I'll give this to the lady and I'll tell them, brush out your machine. Oh, I want 2 cans of that air because that's what I use." And he said, "That's okay with me because you'll be, it means you can bring it back to me sooner because, I don't use canned air to clean your machine. I use a high density vacuum cleaner in a brush to clean it out. I don't blow it in, I pull it out."
Yeah.
And that's, and he was along the line that you just had is, don't push it in, just take it away. And a good dust brush. I grew up in wood shops where there was no pressurized air to being used. Number one, that cost money. You got a hose and you throw it in the air. And that was just a no-no. You didn't throw the dust in the air. You threw it on the floor. And it just to have a counter brush to knock things down and get it out the way.
Then another thing I'd like to say is that when you're talking about your chucks, you put the chuck keys on there, the different jaws. Don't over tighten them, because when you over tighten them, you're using the stress on those screws, and then when you do get a catch, everything blows up. Think about it. You're using the stress of the screws, and they could fail. So I mean, it's just a thing to throw out there. Just think about over tighten it, but just snug it up nice.
Yeah. Treat it like an oil filter on a car.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
You're welcome.
Great input.
David.
Yes, and this all started for a little blurb on our Facebook page about, can I get a cheap chuck, a good cheap? See, you put those together. Good cheap chuck. No.
Yeah, it doesn't happen. And that's what I said was, that you can't get a good cheap chuck for $150. They don't exist.
No.
Not new.
Unless you're buying used.
Oh, that's the beauty of this world is I know that there's a club that exists in this world, and they're meeting for the 203rd time today. They've got probably the world's finest website dealing with wood turning. Probably. We're going for a rating, but probably. And they have a barter page that you can go on to deal, to trade and swap and deal on items dealing with wood turning. Now that might be a good place to dispose of a chuck that you need to get rid of, or you'd like to get rid of, or you have to get rid of. Or
stick somebody else with our problems.
Charlie, come on, man. I didn't want to say it.
A used car salesman.
I didn't want to say it, Charlie. Come on. High dry land you can walk on before you buy. Come on.
Captain, I got to tell you this. I don't know if you remember my phone call to you or not. I was in my shop. This is about 5 years ago. My chuck kept throwing everything at me. I remembered watching one of your videos. Call me at any time and I'll help you. I called you. And the first question was, what'd you pay for that chuck? And I said, $50. It was on sale. He says, I got a video out you should watch. I said, I watched it. Anything less than $100 is going to kill you. That's your
Yeah.
exact words. And you said, I don't care if it was on sale. You paid less than 100 for it. Get rid of it. I did, and I got a one-way, and I haven't had it throw anything at me since.
Yeah.
See, this used car salesman sold you a good Studebaker Skylarker. See that?
You did a real good job. I mean,
Right.
on the other side of my lathe, there is a window, was a window with glass in it. Now there's a window with a board over it because that old chuck put a piece right through it.
Mhm.
Whoa.
Now, was that before or after the phone call?
That was before the phone call. That's what
Oh,
instigated
okay.
the phone call.
Okay.
Gotta tell it like it is. Hey, I'm not putting snow on it and calling them out.
Right.
That's,
Can't believe Eddie dissed Studebakers like that.
Granddad has Studebaker. It was unkillable. I like my rim.
somebody said something. Harbor Freight sells face plates, and but they're soft or brittle or whatever. That if you look at the marketing, overall marketing of the lathe, overall marketing of the lathe, and let's knock it on down to a Jet 1014, which is the lathe in a box, the 55-pound toy that is the big seller. It's the mini, the original mini Jet. And what it came with, the accessories and everything else. You have a lathe bed, a headstock, a tailstock, a tool rest, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Where is the money going to be invested by Jet to get that to the market? It's going to be in that motor, maybe in the headstock, maybe in that, but they're not going to put a ton of money in bearings. They're not going to give you a top-notch tool rest. It's going to be, fair grade, this and this and this. When you start looking at the overall marketing of it, the quality starts to collapse because you got to meet what? A price point. You have to meet a price point. So if you look at that on items you buy to expand your wood churning, and boy, it's hard to tell somebody you don't want to buy a 10-cent newspaper, you want to buy a quarter newspaper. You are getting what you pay for. There are no deals. If it gets over discounted, it was not worth more than what the discount was. And I used to rebuild these lathes. People would be giving away or selling off, auctioning off, and I could go down to the bearing place on the corner, and there really is one, and buy replacement bearings right off the shelf. And I'd walk in and say, any set of bearings match this, and the guy said, "You want to go that cheap?" So what do you mean? He said, "Well, I can go that cheap, but you're going to want that garbage." You go and post something off the shelf that's 3 or 4 or 5 times the quality, and I'd get it for half the price that if I went to Joe's lathe shop and bought it, or whatever. Because most of that stuff is built to standards, and do I really need to give you a Mercedes-Benz bearing if you can get away with a Peugeot?
Right.
And so when you go looking for things, let's look beyond that pretty paint color on the top of it and the stars and stripes and the glitter and all, and think about what is going to fail. What do I need to replace? What am I going to fail on it? What am I going to do up? I like robust lathes for a couple of different reasons. I've got a one-way, but I like the robust because I sat there and took a hard look at them at the SWAT show a couple of years ago. In fact, we were ready to strike a deal on one until I had something come up. But I was looking at tool rest, belt adjustment, bearings, the tailstock, Yeah, just the tail, just the mechanics of the tailstock and how it locked in and the tipping and other things. I got to look at it. Wow, that went wrong on that Delta I had. That went wrong on that other one. This is what is binding on this one, and start looking at things that people have twisted the coin on a little bit and fine-tuned things in where real turners have developed the product. And that's what I've seen it. I see that in one way. That's Real Machine Company that does that. I've seen that at Robust, and I've seen a couple of the Powermatic brand blends that did it, that have done it. You know, sometimes later on in their creation, they've learned to finesse or work out those little glitches. And then they give them to us. And what do? We do everything in the world wrong to them. We talked a little while ago, and they said we blow air into them to get air dust off of them. That's a genius idea. I went to a club one time that had a jet, 16-inch jet that they were using for a demonstrator, and I couldn't get the tailstock to lock down or move or anything. And I got to looking at it. They had sprayed so much WD on that other stuff, that yellow and blue can stuff all over it. They had a slick coating of whale grease on that, and what wasn't in the whale grease was in the dirt that was in it. But the guy said, but it doesn't rust. Doesn't rust. The metal hadn't seen air in 20 years. Just because it's coated doesn't mean it's, so we talk about that sometimes, about what you can do to grease them and lube them and all. I got to be the biggest fan of the T9 by Boeing, because it doesn't attract and hold dirt. And we're all talking about that. What's in our chucks? Dirt. Where did it come from? Us. How do you get there? Us. How do we get it out of there? Take a few minutes to clean it out. That's sometimes not an easy task, especially one of those dummy bar chucks. They're sometimes very awkward to change. I can break down to one way, take the ways out, break it down, and put it in a tub and I use mineral spirits, and put my key in my drill and run it. And I mean, I can blow it out the air hose. Okay, take everything out, have the ring gear and the ways gear in there, looking pretty good. Put in a little pot of mineral spirits, maybe a quarter mineral spirits, bottom of a bucket. Turn it on. I swear, it looks like chocolate milk in about 30 seconds when I start running it. That's how much trash is surface contact on all those gears and all those ways and those routes, and just bleeds it all off. And I just remove the dead fast. Then I clean it and dry it, and then I'll put now T9. I'm nuts about it. But if you were just to lube it and put it back, all you did was re-energize the magnet for the dirt to come back on it again. And it takes a few minutes, and it's a couple of tricks on how to get the jaws to come back in. I watched a guy in Albuquerque at a AAW show was trying to put the jaws back in his chuck. All right. And he got the ways out of line, the dogs out of the line. And he was playing it. And he couldn't get them to close. Yeah, when you put them in, you got to get them all closed down to a neutral position, all closed tight. And he's playing it, couldn't do it. A guy took a little green rubber band that you get on your newspapers at home, and he walked up, snapped it on there, and he said, now unwind it. You unwind it, now wind it back up. And it was lined up. And the guy says, how do you do that? And he said, after about 1,400 tries, I learned that's how you do it. Don't worry about how it fits when you close it. It's when it's open, it can't go wrong. Talk about under the shade tree mechanics, but it did work.
Yep.
It saved you a lot of grief. That's how we got on that. All right. But that was just something to come off on our Facebook page. And that's a great place to drop ideas and questions and comments, photographs of your work. Those photographs are taken by our webmaster who uses them on our website. You can also email photographs to the club at worldwidewoodturners@gmail.com, and I'll forward them on to David Rhodes. He's our webmaster. He takes care of getting everything in the entire world on our website, because that's where it's got to be. That's where it's got to be. And there's no other website like it in the world. That's a challenge. Just give up, folks. It's here at worldwidewoodturners.org. It's right here. And it's because of that gentleman right there. He can put it together for us. And he does. And he gets paid the same as all the other members get paid. Because it's a duty. It's a mission. How do we say it? It's a mission. It is. It's fun. Doug, I missed your demo yesterday. We moved my PT time to middle of the afternoon, and I was sitting there in a pool that was full of ladies doing their exercises, and this is weird. I was thinking about, man, I'm missing Doug's demo. Doug, there's something wrong with that, man.
Depends on the group of ladies, I guess.
Yeah, really. But Doug is on Tuesdays. And I normally catch it, but it's on a rewind. It's on a rewind. You can catch it if you subscribe. Just like all of our programs, always on a rewind. So if you miss this, you can pick it up. Takes David a day or two, sort through them, edit them, put them back up there. He puts the chat up there. And when it goes up, folks, that chat right there, it's on the left-hand side of my screen is my chat. That is like a free-for-all spot. Free-for-all. See, we're not sponsored. We're not married. We're dating all these people. We're all just getting out and getting to know each other. So if something comes up like Billy Burt pops up with something and it's unique, and we rely on Billy to do that, he can always throw it over in chat and say, look, I got this or I got that, and we can all share it. Or when we get folks that do IRDs, and although we don't get any money for IRDs, and we don't want to, if someone like Scott or Chad or whatever does IRDs, they can put that information in the chat. And we'll advertise it for them. We'll add it to our events calendar if you wish to, which the events calendar is also free and on our website and accessible to anybody on the planet, no matter where you are. And that's how we're going to hold this thing wide open. And that's 203 meetings ago we started this. You make me so happy doing it, really. Don't forget we have a new photo challenge coming up for Labor Day. Labor Day is not that far away, folks. Really, was that 3 weeks away? SWAT's only 2 weeks away. Labor Day is coming up. Plates and platters. Yes, we want to see your plates and platters for Labor Day. Let's get out there and get some stuff spun flat. What's the difference between a plate and a platter? It's pretty simple. You catches. You get a catch real early, it's going to be a plate. A plate. You get
What's next week?
Yeah. What's next week?
SWAT.
Today's 16.
We get the idea.
Yeah. I'm leaving here next Thursday, headed to Waco.
Oh, man.
Lord have
I
mercy.
think the boss is playing my calendar to keep me unhappy. Okay.
We're leaving Monday. We got 1,200 miles to go.
You're driving?
Yep.
I'll be there on Wednesday so I can
Well,
help out Thursday all day.
well, Godspeed, Jim.
Thank you, man.
All three of us.
Yep. We're taking
Oh.
the bird too.
The who?
The bird.
Oh.
Venus.
Hey, the bird. Got to take the bird. It's a companion. That's the
Made a special pedestal for her between the two seats, so she's got a place.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. You talk about spoiled.
I'm
Hey,
looking
speaking of that,
forward to meeting y'all.
there's a bunch of us going. Is there a place to meet, or are they gonna do anything special? It'd be great. There's gotta be 24 people going from here, isn't there?
What y'all need to do is put your cell phone numbers in the chat tonight that you're going to SWAT. That way you guys can hook it,
They
have contact information to contact each other when you get there.
Okay.
Yeah. They typically don't do they typically don't have, like, some organizations or some meetings or whatever will have a special room for YouTubers or influencers or whatever you want to call it. And the SWAT typically doesn't do that, and that would be pretty much the case for this. We pretty much have to just either text each other or run into each other, whatever.
The beauty of SWAT, which is uncommon at almost any other symposium I've ever been in, there is an open chow hall with tables all the time. It's right there in the heart of the convention center.
That's true. Anybody can go out in the dining room anytime.
Yes. And that's a great meeting spot. In fact, a good friend of mine, Lyle Jameson, will have a booth at the one corner of that right there on the end. He's been there for 20 years.
Yeah, always in the same spot.
Always in the same spot. But you can, and right across from them is going to be Robust. All the crews from Robust. We're going to be right there. It's not that I've been there a lot that you know the layout, huh? When you come up the escalator, Vince Welch is going to be right, top at selling sandpaper, and Carl Jacobson's going to be on the corner where Ruth Niles has got her booth on. It's a pattern. It's scary, but you can gather at those spots and have a nice little brief meeting with folks. But then for lunch, you can gather and have lunch all together because you get fed at SWAT. And then on Saturday night, there's the big banquet. And you can all get together and compare notes and cheer. And if you want to see something that looks like, it's like a throwback to the early school days, to where there's rows and rows of tables. And a club, Brazos Woodturners, will take a table and set it all up for all their members. And then you get Rio Valley will do the same thing, and the DAW will do the same thing. And it is a competition of cheering and having a good time, and who's been here the longest. And they recognize members that have been there 25 years, 30 years. Yes, members have returned for that long. The Tolleys were there before Moses paved the way to Waco. And, there's a lot of camaraderie. It's the beauty of it. No politics. It's not like, oh my goodness, what's his name? It's not. It's, look at him, and a lot of joking and kidding going on. And that's beautiful. Yes, sir.
If I'm not going, but the thing is, if you guys all put your logo sticker on your chest and walk around, you could probably gather a bunch of people together.
Well, you know what? I sent, I have mailed I got the number yesterday, 400 and something stickers to members
Wow.
that are going to SWAT. Yeah. We went through 2 big rolls of these. We put them out in the mail last week. Members have got them. Some got them as many as 100. And they're going to be with them. And I know Scott's got a bunch of them. I sent some on to, a handful of names here to members and said, hey, send me some. I'm going to be giving away. I mean, Joaquin Vincent's going to be doing a demonstration. He said, send some for me. I got them to him. And sometimes getting them out, those things take a little time. It took me forever to get Heather's to her. I know it's been a month since I first started trying to get them out of here towards her.
I got them today.
Yeah, see, was amazed. At least they didn't come back again. But we're going to have stickers out there. It's a great idea. Put those stickers out there. Get folks realizing that we're here and they can be part of us. And it's free, and it is becoming one of the world's largest wood turning clubs, because we want to get folks involved in sharing information. There's not a buck to be made. There's not a buck to be lost. The almighty dollar does not run this club, does not run it, and never will run this club. If I'm here, the dollar won't run this place. We will find a way to do it without it. It's just that important. It is. It's been 4 years. And this whole thing, if you don't know the history, the whole thing started from me being right there at SWAT, sitting there for 4 days and talking to wood turners for 4 days and realizing this venue didn't exist. And there was not a reason, there is not a reason in the world that doesn't exist. It doesn't work. There is not. And I'm so proud of you folks. I mean, you really do great. And all these people we talking to and chatting with, they aren't just like you. They paid the same price to get in. They'll get the same money coming out.
Hey,
So,
Eddie.
hey,
Yes. Didn't you meet in like a restaurant for a while with the email or sending back and forth mail?
we did that. We did that.
I started then.
You did. Yeah, that was September 27th.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it. And that was the kickoff. See, I got back and I got to talking to a couple of friends. And it's funny how things ebb and tide. The folks you meet, and sometimes they come and go. I mean, my best friend Ronnie was helping me at the time with some things. And we just sat and said, can this work? And he said, why don't you ask some turners? So I emailed friends like Ron Radcliffe, an old Air Force buddy, and Master Sergeant Doug Rowe. And, there was 12 people that I emailed from all over the world and said, what do you think would happen if we did this? And almost every one of them said, why don't we try it? Only 1 or 2 said, who's going to pay for it? Well, none of us really have a bucket of money to give away, so we had to figure something out. What you're watching right now is a Zoom broadcast. This Zoom broadcast is being funded by Trey Lynette out of Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Trey's pays this subscription annually, and he uses it for several clubs he belongs to, ornamental turners and wood turners all over the place. And he does this to benefit wood turning. So he lets us on his license, and we lock on and do this. What other expenses do we have? We privately raised the money to buy the stickers, and we're handling that. But a couple of weeks ago, we had somebody show us Scott. It was a really nice T-shirt he had. In fact, Dane's got a shirt on tonight. It's got a logo on it. I really don't foresee us venturing that far into merchandise. There's a lot of investment in it, and at this point, we don't have the investment. So That isn't going to happen. I feel it's a monumental thing that in a group like us right now, we've moved up to having the stickers, and they're available. Don't believe that story about it takes forever to get them. That's that, you know, Heather. Don't listen to Heather.
Hey, Eddie,
Yes.
can I butt in for a minute? This is
Right
Scott.
in. Yeah, Dave.
Scott with a shirt getting ready to do a demo.
Yes, sir.
Coming up in September, there may be an opportunity for you to get shirts like Dane and I have. And I will roll out the details in September.
Scott, I don't normally say this to anybody. I love you, baby. You know, Scott, it can be done. I'm just not in the emotional, mental capacity to do it at this time of my life.
Well, Eddie, I'm going to take care of it. You won't have to worry about it.
You see,
It's on me.
that's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. This is the club we needed. This is a club you formed. This is, oh man, tell you what. It is so good. So good.
So stay tuned. The details are to come.
All right. And we never stop cooking on here. This stove has got a big burner on it. Hey, I saw a couple of things this week on the internet, on the Facebook page. Kim Tippin, I believe she's in her new house and got moved in. Kim's an old friend. She was here in the beginning, and then got displaced. Was going to build a new house, and then she hired Joe Blow contractor that really. And but I see Kim. First time I'd seen a picture of Kim with a smile on her face in 2 or 3 years. So hopefully we get to see Kim back again. Very good instructional turner, Kim Tippin.
Eddie, she's got a YouTube video up on her new house.
Oh, she does. I got to see that.
Came out today, about 2 hours ago.
She's a dog. She really is. She's a dog. She really good lady. And we got to take care of other members of the family. I can't see the roster, but I know Mark Soleil is probably going to be popping in this evening. Mark is getting over a little bout. He had a mild stroke. And those of us who had strokes know there's no such thing as a mild stroke. You have a stroke. It knocks your ass down, pardon me, but it does. And then as a grown man or a grown person, you have to come back up from the cellar and get back up on top again. But he's the kind of guy that can do it. I mean, hey, there's not a hill he can't climb. He just said last week he was proud that he could raise his leg. So look, if he can raise his leg, he's getting ready for an ass kicking. So hope Mark comes back with us proud and strong. And we rely on these folks to give us input about what's happening in the world and wood turning. I see a lot of phone numbers popping up now that folks that are traveling to SWAT that like to meet. Now, Scott Hampton has got two demonstrations lined up, and I believe Joaquin Vincent's got 2 demonstrations lined up in the normal rotation. And you'll probably find stickers there if you don't have stickers. The deal with the stickers, if you're a regular member and you don't have stickers, you should have bought stickers from us. Really, you should have. There are 10 stickers for $5 and I'll mail them to you. The information is on the front page of our website. It's pretty damn simple, isn't it? All right. And it's a way to promote your club. But if you're at SWAT and you run into somebody that doesn't know about us, go to Joaquin, go to Scott, go to one of the other members that we have there that have got the stickers and say, give me a sticker. I want to introduce this guy to the club. Say, here, this is it. Go to worldwidewoodturners.org. And what I like about it, we have a webmaster that had the forethought. Get this, because a lot of times this doesn't happen in the websites. You know that. He had the forethought to think, what time does a meeting start? what time can I go there? I don't, the website tells you. There's a clock right there next to go to the meeting. It tells you how long you have to wait until the meeting starts. And that's, Dave's got it set to worldwide. So you can get there. And that's why we have some folks in here from Laura Vic, Australia right now. Donald Masters in with us. And I see we have Martin Clarkson in from the UK. And a few minutes ago, I saw somebody in from Peru. So, you know, we're worldwide, and they all know by going to our website, looking at the clock, clicking on a button and getting there. And they didn't have to join Zoom or Prep or Twiggler or any of those other people. All they had to do was push that button and up it came. And you do it on your cell phone on your way home like Doug Rowe does when he's coming in from school at night. Doug's probably back teaching school again. And Bob Hodge says they posted a handbook for all the demonstrations about SWAT. Okay, got a lot of information coming in tonight, folks. We told you about that new Chuck. We're getting sidetracked. You got some gallery tonight. We got a little. We got our demonstration tonight's coming up in a few minutes, but we're going to try to squeeze in a little gallery, Dane.
Yeah, I think we can squeeze in a couple people here.
Boy, look at that mug.
Mr. Miller. Doug?
Hey guys. Good to see all.
That's not the mug. That's not the mug I was talking about. You know the mug I was talking about.
I do. I saw it.
All right.
The piece that Dane was referring to earlier that tried to jump out of my chuck was this one. Nice little vase form. It's hollow down to about quarter to half an inch, something like that. This piece was very punky, full of wormholes, all of those kinds of things. And the fellow that gave me this had stabilized it. You see there, that's some blue resin on this edge here. Well, you can see it real good there, the blue resin. This was part of a challenge. It was to be a lidded vessel with a finial. And so then I turned my lid and my finial all go together. It's salted something, maybe maple, don't really know. Walnut lid. And then the finial is actually, it was something dyed blue. I'm having a tough time getting that in the picture tonight for some reason. There we go.
Gorgeous.
So let's see if I get my finger down here. Now the finial was about a half-inch taller, and it while I was trying to fit the lid to the vessel, it fell off, and that half-inch, I don't know where it went. It went somewhere. So we just kind of angled it off and sanded it real nice and re-waxed it. Anyway, the whole piece comes together real nice. The lid, it's not a pop fit by any means, but it does fit pretty nicely. Does not slide around. But then I was contacted by a charitable group. Many of you, I'm sure, have heard of them. OUR, Operation Underground Railroad. Their whole thing is to find and help folks who have been trafficked, human trafficking. It helped not only find them, but help them escape, and then to do the aftercare as well. There is a group that has come out of that called Artists or Arts for Our, and their whole purpose is to raise money for Our so they have the funds to do what they do. And they contacted me, asked me to make a video. I made the video, and while I was doing it, I thought, I'm not going to keep this bowl. I'm going to give this to them as well. So all that to say, here's a pear bowl. It's about 4.5 by 2 1/4 tall. Has some natural edge to it, as
Nice.
well as this was crotch. You can see the crotch figure on the outside there. On the inside, see if I can get it for the light.
Beautiful.
There's
Nice.
the crotch figure on the far side, close to me.
Nice pieces, Doug.
Well, thanks.
Looking good.
That auction went live today. Last time I looked, I think there were 3 bids on it, and it's up to like $63, $64, something in that neighborhood. So I'm hoping it draws a few dollars for hour.
Cool.
That's what I have for this week.
All right,
Nice.
right on.
Nice, Doug.
All right,
Where do we
let's
find
go
that auction?
If you go to, I'll have to find it and I'll put it in the chat here in a minute.
That'd be very good.
I don't remember right offhand, but I've seen it. It's not they use another auction company to do the auctions for them. So anyway, it's 100% for the charity.
That's good. All right, thanks, Doug. All right,
Yes,
let's go to
sir.
Mr. Canning. Hey, Tom.
Howdy. I think I got the other half of the log that Doug showed first.
Yeah.
Hold on. This came from one of our wood
Nice.
turners passed away, and his wife was liquidating the estate, and we all bought wood. And this piece was ate up with worms. I used a powdered metal inlay to patch the wormholes. I'd never used it before, but I really like the way it works.
It looks great.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It was not so spalted. It was incredibly dry. It probably had been sitting for a decade, but the worms got most of it. I got the rest. I patched the holes and made a piece out of it. And it's probably about 6 inches tall and 4 inches in diameter. But I like the lid that Doug put on his. That kind of gave me an idea. I may have to put a lid and a finial on this one too.
Yeah.
And
That thing
pretty.
is full of
Yeah,
everything.
Yeah, it's
It's-
beautiful.
Seen it.
as the
Puppy
commercial says,
dog.
it's ate up with character.
And there's a pig. I've seen a teddy bear and a fish.
Oh, man, don't get her started, please.
Such an
It's
imagination,
just full of
Linda.
stuff. See that?
I've been told that I'm full of stuff several times, so
Yeah.
it's nothing new. That's all we got for tonight.
There's a mouse.
Oh,
Just
Leaves on the
love it.
bottom.
Oh, mercy.
Tom, Kelly
Right.
asked if you could put a link for the powdered metal filler.
Yes, I'll have to look it up. It comes. I had like 3 different varieties. I think I had powdered aluminum, powdered brass, and powdered bronze or copper, and they're all different colors. And it's about like talcum powder, and you pack it into the hole and drip super thin CA glue on it and sand it back.
Cool.
We had a demo on the application and the use of that back on February 7th. And I believe some of the powdered metals that were used by the demonstrator, Chris Parker from the UK, was listed also during the demo. So you can go back on February 7th and watch how that process is done there as well for those that missed it or don't remember it. So, all right, good stuff, Tom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's go to
Appreciate
Heather.
that.
You can also get it on Amazon.
What? Heather's off tonight?
Heather's not at work.
Hey, Heather.
Look at me. I get to enjoy the
Yay.
weather. Hey,
Nice.
so yeah, sitting in my backyard enjoying the last little bit of daylight. So I've had a small piece of red oak here that I'm making into a live edge. I still need to put more finish on it. But there's
Beautiful.
that.
That's going to be really pretty.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Got
Looking
a
good.
pedestal on it.
I like the pedestal.
Still
It
have
looks
the
cool.
tenon on the bottom. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. Raises it up off the table a little
Right.
bit.
Very nicely done. lady.
Yeah.
Beautiful shape.
Came out nice and smooth. I'm putting tongue and teak oil on it, so I've got 2 coats on it now, but it's not very shiny. So I don't know if that'll shine up or not. And I was playing with another
Great.
piece of oak today, so I made a little candlestick which I tapered in too far, so I wasn't able to drill it deep enough. So, you know,
It
the
works.
candle sticks up
Yep,
on it.
it still works.
I'll probably just keep that one for myself. But I ebonized that one with vinegar and steel wool.
Pretty.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah. I don't know if you can see the
Huh.
color of it there.
Yeah, it looks great.
Mhm.
And you can still
Yeah.
see plenty of the wood grain too. So that's
Yeah,
even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's just little. It's only
Nice.
about 7 inches tall. But I'll keep that one for
Nice.
myself.
Very good.
And it's got a little crack in the top too, so yeah, I won't be selling that one. That's it for today. That's all I made
All
today.
right.
Nice.
Enjoy your
Enjoy
evening
your-
off there.
Yeah, I'm off till Monday.
All right.
Woohoo.
Billy.
Oh no. Okay. I don't know when the Beads of Courage thing is or was. I know it was supposed to be in August. This is till August. I've been bound and determined to make a Beads of Courage box to take to SWAT, and I've just never got around to it. But I did now, and this one it's stave construction. Yes, I'm hiding stuff. I've got my logo burned in the bottom. Anyway, stave construction. I used red oak and African mahogany, otherwise known as SIPO, and I used my laser while these were still flat and not together. I found some images that I liked, and I engraved some images onto this, and I colored them with Sharpie, believe it or not. I have not, this doesn't have a finish on it yet. I just got the bottom glued in this afternoon. But anyway, I colored all of the images. I thought they were pretty cool. I think a kid's gonna love it.
That's awesome, Billy.
And I didn't turn the inside round either, but I did turn, as you saw, I did turn the rabbit for the base and the lid. And the lid is walnut, and I engraved it as well, and I colored that. And any of you with kids or grandkids might recognize this fella.
Yeah.
It's from a cartoon movie series called How to Train Your
Dragon.
Dragon. Yeah, that's Toothless. And so and this also is African mahogany. This is the end grain. It was 3 pieces glued up together. And I engraved in the bottom, I also engraved a phrase that came from something I found from Beads of Courage, and my own little message to the child as well. So it's done, except for the final finish. The inside is finished. I used several coats of matte water-based polyurethane, and I will be spraying the outside with satin or semi-gloss water-based poly. But anyway, that's my little Beads of Courage box. I'm really happy with it.
Very nice.
You should be.
Very nice.
Good, Billy. I like
Thanks.
it.
Good job, Billy. Looks great, man.
Good job, Billy.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, let's go to, let's see, is he still here? Yeah, he is. Joaquin's got a piece of chestnut he wants to show us. Need to turn your video on, Joaquin.
Yep, I'm on. So in March, a
I
friend
still
of mine,
see me.
another wood turner here in
Yeah.
North Carolina,
Keep talking.
he
Move
got
your
the
lips,
opportunity.
really.
They were felling an American chestnut tree that had died from the beetles, or what is it? Beetles that's killing chestnut? I think it is. Anyway,
I thought it was a blight, but
it might be a
is
blight. I can't remember. Anyway, he came by and dropped off a couple chestnut logs because they had to fell the tree somewhere in here in North Carolina. So I rough turned 3 bowls, and these are dry as dry can be. This one, see that dark line? That is some serious ring shake. It's I'm scared to turn this bowl.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, I'm really not excited about turning that bowl. I might stabilize it with resin and then turn it, but that thing looks scary. So this piece was a little bit safer. Turn around. Hang on. Let me turn this camera around.
There you go.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Oh, that's pretty.
Isn't that gorgeous? Now the bark didn't stay, so I just singed it with the torch. Now there is a little bit of ring shake in here, but it's very minimal. So I was able to squeeze that bowl out of there. It's just a little very thin, very low little bowl, but
That's really
can you see the
nice.
flames? Can you see the flames? There's flame on one side, and I just was blown away by that. You can even see it on the outside.
That's cool.
Just gorgeous piece of wood. Something that unfortunately we're losing faster than we can try to conserve it. It was really a treat to turn that.
Yeah, there's a few managed forests with 500 or 600 trees in them, I think, somewhere in the north and up in the Midwest. But yeah, it's a shame we lost so much of that chestnut.
Yeah,
It's
they crossed
gorgeous.
them with Chinese chestnut and brought them back a lot in the Northeast and Northwest. There's well-established forests since the 60s.
That's good. It smells wonderful. I can't even describe it. It doesn't smell like any other wood I've turned, but it smells fantastic. It is beautiful wood.
That it is.
It's a beautiful piece.
That's lovely, Joaquin.
Nice job on that. I hope you're able to save that larger blank there.
Yeah, like I said, I'm going to put it in some cactus
be able
juice
to.
and see what we can do. Because I really don't want to lose it. And I've got one more blank, and then I cut a bunch of pen blanks with it. So I'll be making some chestnut pens.
There you go.
That's all I got today.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
Unfortunately, the same thing is happening to the gas in the Northeast.
You're breaking up. We can't hear you.
He was saying the same thing's happening to the ash, but that's because of the borer.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
with the
we
emerald
are-
ash.
Yeah, the emerald ash
Yeah,
borer.
ash borer beetles. Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah,
got
we're
some
gonna
beautiful
lose it.
ash around here in the shop too, and I love turning it, but it's going fast.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Ron. Hey, Ron.
Okay, so this week I finished a cherry wall hanging.
Oh my.
Whoa.
One of
Wow.
our club members, Mark Wallace, went to Aeromont and learned how to make one of these. And then he did a workshop for our club with the DAW. And so it's basically 3 bowls that you turn. And then you do a lot of texturing and carving on it, and that's kind of what it turned out to look like. It's about it's big. It's about 16 inches across and 18 inches tall and about 1.5 inches thick.
Wow.
That is beautiful.
And then I put a piece of plastic in the back just to cover it up. So anyway,
Very nice, Ron.
Holy
Very
cow.
nice. That's impressive.
Actually, I think he
Yes.
learned that at Campbell's 2 years ago from Kevin Bedgood. But
I thought it was
maybe-
Aeromont, but it could be Campbell, Matt. You may be right.
okay, yeah, that's the first place I saw it. But very nice, nicely done. I'm really glad that Mark brought all that stuff back to the club.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of demos for us. So
That's great, Ron. It looks pretty.
thanks.
Good job. All right, let's go to Kingsley. Dave.
Howdy. Yeah, I've got something here that Eddie requested. And I'm going to share my screen. And this was the rattle I was working on last week.
Yeah.
And what I did was, well, first of all, I was lucky enough to have these extended chuck jaws. I started with some blue tape. Hello. There we go. Wrapped it with a towel and spun it around, used my center, and it came out rather well.
Cool.
Nice.
It was a good save.
Yeah,
You can hold it, you can turn it.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, you wanted to see how I was going to hold it, so I held it.
Beautiful
And
idea.
it rattles in stereo.
Very
All
nice, Dave.
right.
But
Good
What we
job.
like.
finally a success. It took a while.
Great.
It's
Never
good.
get.
Baby steps. That's what my boss used to tell me.
There you
It
go.
worked in programming, and now it's working in turning.
Yeah.
That's it.
Great job.
All right, let's go to Mr. Hodge. Hey, Robert.
Hey everybody. So I turned a piece of magnolia that had a pretty plain wood grain, and I had seen an IRD by Cheryl Lewis called encaustic wax. So this has 2 coats of encaustic wax, and then I applied amber shellac, and then you take a blowtorch and it creates this kind of spider web look.
That's cool.
So it's
Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool.
different, but it was
That's
my
cool,
first.
Hodge.
I think it turned out okay.
Is
Some
that what is that what you're going to demonstrate in the future for us, Bob?
maybe once I do more. This was the first time I've ever done it, so there's a few parts,
Okay.
for
All right.
example, here where I melted too much heat. So, but it's on my YouTube
Great.
last week. But
I think it looks cool.
yeah,
Hey,
Heck
Aaron,
yeah.
Aaron wasn't putting his nose in that wax, was he?
no, not this one. He didn't want to be a wax beaver,
To
but
see those patterns develop was purely amazing.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. That was cool.
But yeah, it was fun. I'll probably do some more here in the future.
Right on. Very good.
I'm sure we got a spot
All right.
open for a demo.
Maybe one of these days.
Yeah, I'm going to be hitting you up again.
All right.
He can do it. I'm
Looks great,
telling you.
Robert.
You can do it, Robert. If I can do it, you can do it.
Yeah. Hey, you just heard Billy Brett was saying, if I can do it, you can do it. Folks, if you're going to a spot, block out a little time, bring your little camera and go into the gallery and see the Beads for Courage display at SWAT. Some of the most fantastic artwork in wood turning you will ever see will be on that table at Beads of Courage.
Agreed.
It will be. It awesome. Just like you just now amazed to see what Billy did. That's just the tip of the iceberg, folks. It's a big iceberg. Some beautiful work. And it's all thought provoking. It's all make you think, wow, I can do that. I can do that. I can do that. And remember, the rules are not that strict to where you can't do it. And what we do, there aren't a lot of rules about what we can decorate and enhance and this and that. So let's go take a look at it. And it's a good gallery anyway at the rest of that's at SWAT also. And there's no rigmarole. Just people showing stuff, really good work. I asked last week when we were talking about identifying things, and we have to take this up on another evening because we have a demo lined up tonight. We've had our safety thing. We talked about chucks and safety of chucks, etc. And Sue's not with us tonight. But identification of wood. And I got a text in this week from somebody that recommended I contact such and such and all this. We are, the club, are searching for some good basic information on identifying wood types. See, Doug Miller said earlier, I think this is sculpted such and such. How can I identify it? Or somebody else said this is a block of wood found on ground and stuff. we are looking for that reference. So if you know of one, don't pop up with it right now. We need more about it. That's what the chat's about. We need more. We're looking for those references. If you've got a reference item for something like that, now put it in chat. Now we'll take it out of the chat, research it a little bit, and then when we come to you, at that time, I'd like to be able to say, this is what we're looking at. This is what we're going to identify. This is plain Jane, Bob under the tree, simple. I have contracted somebody to come into a club meeting to help identify wood, and went way over the top of them, way over the bar, because pulled out his loop and his, driving down the road, you don't have a loop in your pocket. It's what, am I going to stop and pick up that loplolly white pine or that, whatever it is? So we're looking to develop that a little bit. So you have an idea, let's put it in. I see Matt Hubbard there jumped on board. He didn't miss the beat right there. But let's get it on there. This is all about sharing information, folks. There's 93 of us gathered here this evening. And just the main question is, where's your friends? Did you invite your friends? Looking for them. All right. We get together every Wednesday night. This is replayed on our website, the world's greatest website for dealing with attorney. If you got something to share, just like where this thing about identifying wood will be, it will be on our website where to go find this information. Because we really don't believe there's secrets here. And if there are, we don't want to keep them. All right. Is it about time to us where we were popping over to Scott's house?
We're gonna go to Wisconsin for a demo tonight. So without further ado, let's pop over to Scott Tague and see what he's got on store for us.
You got the button. You're going to mute everybody, and folks, if you want to ask a question, tell them, Dane. Tell them the rules.
Tell them the rules. So Scott's demo, he's going to demonstrate his little project tonight, the way he turns it. At the conclusion of the demo, if you got questions and comments on how to do things, let's save those questions and comments for the end of the demo. And so without further ado, I'm going to mute everybody. And Scott, you need to unmute yourself. Muting everybody now.
Can you hear me?
We got you.
Oh, that means my headset is working.
Yes.
So we're going to do, you can see this. This is a whiskey bottle stopper. Eddie wanted to do some bottle stoppers, but this one's a special bottle stopper. It's also a shot glass.
Oh, cool.
So you can carry your whiskey bottle with you and drink your own shots out of your own stopper.
Interesting.
So it was something I came up with on my own. I've never seen anybody else do this. Just one of those late night dumb ideas. So that actually worked on a couple tries. So this one holds 2 shots. This little red one holds 1 shot. So it's all dependent on how long you make your blank and how deep you drill the hole. So let's get started. I'm going to set these aside so they don't roll off onto the floor. So when I start with a rectangular, actually a handle blank that I cut to the length that I want. The long ones I cut to 3 inches. The short ones I cut to 2 1/4 inches for the 1-shotters. Then I draw an X on the end. I don't know how well you can see that. Just to get it centered in. I put a center mark on the end just so that you can get it trued up in your chuck. So when you go to drill this now, you're drilling somewhat in the center of this blank. It doesn't really matter because you got enough material. This is a 1.5 by 1.5 blank. You got enough material to make the shot glass without making the walls too thin. So at that point, all I use this center for is just to find the center as I'm chucking it up. I got this one tightened in already. Just verify that I tightened it in and it's good and tight. I'm going to take this out, slide this back. I like to put inserts in mine. I like to have them so they unscrew. I don't know why, but that's just the way I like to do them. You can do them however you want. You could thread it if you wanted to. I just find that I don't have as much problem if I use a stainless steel insert, which I get my stuff from Carl Jacobson, which used to be Ruth Niles. So then I also have what they call stubby drill bits. You get a lot less flex with these, and they drill a truer hole than a standard length drill bit, just because they're short and you can chuck them short. I'm going to chuck this up in here now. Make sure it's tight. And on my new jet lathe, I got this beautiful new index spindle. And I run the drill bit up tight and then set 0 on my index so that I can set the depth of my drill. These inserts are about 5/8 of an inch. And I drill the hole to 3/4 to 7/8 of an inch. This one I don't have drilled, but normally I drill a little hole in the end of these to relieve the air pressure. Otherwise, they like to squirt back out when you epoxy them in. This is a 7/16 drill bit, which is exactly the same size as this insert. And you have to pound these in when you go to put them in. And I'll show that in a few minutes. So now I'm going to drill this. I got this on. I'm going to drill this at about 220 RPMs. I find that this resin drills real nice at around 220 RPM, plus or minus a little. Anytime you're drilling resin, you want to back it out, clear it out as you go. It's as easy as that. So is there any other questions before I go on to the next step?
No, there isn't.
By drilling that slow, you don't even get heat in the drill bit. This drill bit is actually cold, room temperature, which is really nice.
That lake is so clean. I thought you were at Cade Boger's place.
Well, this is only the 4th thing that's ever been turned on it, so it's pretty new. So now, don't do like I did earlier today and forget to face this off on the end before you turn it around. It's a lot easier to do it now. Well, I'm going to use carbide today just because I like using carbide on resin. Seems to work a little better for me. You know, a lot of you guys would probably use a bowl gouge or a skew or your tool of choice. Get this around. Or turn this back on. Now I'm going to turn this up to about 1800, between 16 and 1800. I'm just going to base this off. We got the tool rest too low.
Hey, Scott, real quick, what kind of blank is that?
That is acrylic resin from Wood River or Woodcraft.
Okay.
It's just a handle blank.
All day. I would not try that in a small town.
And all I did was flatten that off now, just to make it easier. I'm just going to give it a light sanding with a little block here. Little block. Going to polish this end a little bit. Which I'm going to do about 500 or so. Just going to give it a little polish. Take out any tool marks that could be there. And then I'm going to use a little, this plastic. This is McGuire's plastic finish. Dan, I believe it's Dan Smith told me about this from the club here, and it works really well. I am rather amazed. I'm just going to carefully put this on without hitting my fingers on those points. You don't have to go real fast. I don't know if you guys could see that, but that's smooth and it's just as shiny as can be.
By large sleeve.
You know, my hole. Now I'm gonna mix up a little epoxy for you. And everybody knows how to mix epoxy, I'm sure. They use 5-minute epoxy and I do this the night before. I let my epoxy sit for 24 hours. I just find that I have less issues with it later. I got that mixed up good. Take this out of the truck now because I don't like pounding on the bearings on my lathe. Now we're just gonna, so I've made an adapter to put this in with. This is a driver, it's just a 3/8 bolt that screws onto the These. Smear some epoxy in here. I'm taking, push that in as much as I can by hand. Take this over the legs of my lathe because it's a little more solid. I'm just going to tap this in. You're all set. Then I just unthread this. Clean up any epoxy if there's any on there. And I inset it just a little bit, just so I know that the stopper will sit flush on the plastic. So now you go back to one of the other ones that I got started, and we'll try turning one of those. So at this point, you can be done with your regular chuck. I'm going to go to a mandrel now that I got from Ruth Niles, and I'll show you some alternatives. So if you notice, my chucks come off real easy. This is an old machinist trick that I learned long time ago from my dad and a few other guys that were machinists. You take a little nylon washer you can buy at the hardware store. It fits up tight against your outside collar. You put that on. And when you go to put your chuck on, it'll screw up. You can get it tight, but you can always break it loose without having a great big wrench to get it off, which is kind of nice if you have inserts in your chucks. Then you don't have to worry about them coming off or coming out if you don't like using the set screws. We were talking earlier about the old rod chucks. These are just for demo purposes. I don't use these very often. But if you don't have Bruce Niles stopper, you can make your own. So this is just a bolt that I got threaded to 3/8, and I just put it in here. You basically created your own chuck, sort of. Your own spindle, whatever you want to call this. I have 2 of these. This is just another version. This I bought off of Amazon, I think. I'm not sure where I got it from, but it does the same thing. It's already threaded on the end. So, and if you buy some of these bottle stoppers that are from other places, they may not be 3/8, so they may not work on Bruce Niles' bottle stopper rig. So you'll have to make your own bolts at some point if you buy the cheap generic Penn State and some of these off Chinese brands. This is the one I use here. Just gonna thread this on. Washer fell down. So this is an adapter. I had to adapt from my 1.25" to my 1" because this is a 1" and I wasn't going to buy a new one of these. I'm cheap. So let's do this blue one. So last night I glued this blue one in. You can see that I've got resin on the bottom. I'll clean that off later. It's not a big deal. I'm going to screw this on here. You want to make sure the seat's all the way to the bottom. And it's good and tight. And tight. I'm going to put my tailstock back on. You guys are going to ask me what drill bit size this is, so I got to look. I don't remember. Yeah. So I'm going to drill this hole at 29/32, which is just under an inch. Grab the right stuff here. Now I'm going to drill the center hole before I do anything else. I've found you have less cracking when you do it this way. If you build too much heat in these resin, it likes to crack, or acrylic, whichever you're using. Resin's worse than acrylic. It tends to crack more. Run this up here. Bring this out a little. Run this up here. Lock that down. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but on this drill bit, I got a black magic marker mark. That'll tell me when to stop this drill bit. Now I'm going to drill this at around 200 RPMs as well. If you stay at that slower speed with this short drill bit like this, it cuts pretty well. To keep this drill bit sharp, this is the only thing it gets used for. If you don't get the feed rate right, you don't have to do a lot of polishing on the inside. Again, back it out, clean off the ribbons. Just going to check this to make sure I didn't hit the insert. It shouldn't have, but no. So I didn't hit the insert. It grabbed a little on the bottom. I was worried to hit the insert, so I'm going to stop a little short. Now that's all there is for drilling. Any questions so far? And this is pretty smooth inside. It isn't going to take much to polish this once I get to that point.
No questions so far, Scott. No questions. Okay. That twist drill does a good job of making a nice clean hole compared to a Forstner bit, doesn't it?
Yes. Then the other thing I like about it, and I can show that maybe in one of these other ones, is it leaves a nice tapered bottom. See that? There we go. Leaves a nice bottom, and it's usually pretty smooth, so you don't have to worry about trying to get it smooth in the bottom. It's hard to sand the bottom.
Right.
I haven't found a real good way of doing it, so a lot of times I don't even hardly sand the bottom. I just polish it and leave the lines in it if there's any lines in it. Whoever's drinking out of the shot glass, by the time they get to the second or third shot out of this double, they're not going to care if there's lines in the bottom.
Amen.
How do you know how deep to drill it?
Okay, that was by trial and error. And the trial was I was pouring shots in it, and the error was I was drinking them. So I would take a shot glass. I have shot glasses in the house that are singles and doubles, and I would pour them in there until I got to the depth I wanted. So it took me a couple days to get the right depth, obviously, because I wasn't drinking and running the machine at the same time. Just a little disclaimer. I did it by volume, Dad.
Did you drink all those shots?
Yeah, I had a few. Tequila is my friend. Hell, the next day. So at that point, I used the shot glass to find the bottom, Gary. If not to be a smarty pants.
I only use a 2-fingered shot.
Right. So now I'm going to put a little support in there, just because I like to do it that way. So I got these little Nerf balls in the kids section at Walmart.
Good idea.
So you can get, I don't know, I got a package of they're actually called mini balls for playing hockey, yard hockey. And there was 6 of them in here for like $4 or $5. So you have lots of extras if you wreck one. And they work really nice once you get them chewed up a little bit to fit in the end of these shot glasses, and I use it for other things. You can see that it's all chewed up. And just stick it in the end. This is just a live center that I've taken the point out of. Taking the point out of it, and I'm just using the cup of it. I'm just going to run that up there. Put just a little bit of pressure on it till I see the ball squeeze and tighten it off. Another nice thing about using these balls, if you hit them with your tools, they just shred. You don't have to worry about marring them up if you use something else. So I like to run my carbides at about center line of the lathe. I'm going to start out with a square one. Move my round one over here. I'm going to start out with a square one to knock the edges off, the corners off. I'm just going to put safety glasses on. I should wear a face shield, but they don't fit over my headset, so I'll stand off to the side and be careful. I'm going to turn this on. I'm going to spin this up to about 1600 to 1700 RPM. Make sure everything's good and tight as I'm watching it. Start here. I don't come in right on the end. I come in just a little off the end. Second thought I'm gonna take my headset off for a few minutes. Well, I just changed this cutter and put a new one on. And it, when all else fails, when you're doing a demo, it have to loosen up. Now I gotta find the wrench. Put it in here. Where'd it go? Hang on,
I can
I'll
tell
be
you
right
where
back.
mine is at.
I know where. I just had this one. I just changed it while we were talking in the meeting. And I put it back in the drawer, and I found the old cutter. Where'd the wrench go? The gremlin got it. You know, that's all right. I got more wrenches, so that's not a problem. Don't knock the computer over.
If that's the worst thing that happened, just sitting pretty.
That's the first time I ever had one of these loosen up. Usually I don't have that problem. I'm going to take my headset back off again until I get this round because those chips hurt on my face. So
yeah.
If you got questions, hold on to them for a minute. I basically made it round. I don't know if you guys could hear through the mic when it started to get round. You could tell that it was getting round. It starts to give you streamers like this when it starts to get round. So, or when it's not round, it gives you chips like this. They're cutting, but it's chips. And this stuff is a mess. It'll be all over your shop when you get going here. So I like to leave mine a little big on the bottom. I don't make them right to the size of the bottle stopper. You can if you want to. I like to take them off sometimes and put the stopper back in the bottle, and then use the shot glass as a shot glass, set it on the table. So I leave my bottoms a little big. That's entirely up to you. And I do it all by eye. I don't measure it. You can if you want to replicate them, but I try not to make things that are all exactly the same. That way people can tell when you're selling them that they're handmade. So at this point, I'm going to switch from the square negative rake, which is what I started with. Right here. This is what I started with. Square negative rake. Now I'm going to switch to the round to do my shaping on the outside. And then we'll do a little shaping on the inside, a little sanding and polishing, and we'll be done. This is a pretty quick, fast project and a big mess.
Tear it up.
I'm just going to round this corner off on the bottom ever so slightly. Then I'm just going to give this a little shape. You can see the streamers I'm getting. The round cutter cuts so much nicer than the square one. The square one is better for roughing. I'm just going to come in here. Down just a little. Want just a little flare on the top. A lot of streamers like that. Just a little acid brush. Get rid of the streamers. Better than grabbing them with your fingers. Obviously, when you get into the middle here, you got to be careful that you don't get too small. That's a 1-inch hole in there. You don't want to, obviously, you don't want to blow it apart or cut into the glass. They just make it look like it's got a little flare in the top. All I'm looking for, a little flare in the bottom, maybe. Speed is your friend with acrylic. It likes to go fast. Smoother cuts out of it. Even when you're doing pens, turn them as fast as you're comfortable. And that's the outside. Nothing fancy, just a little bit of a flare. Clean this up a little bit when we go to finish it. Now I'm going to slide my headstock away. I'm going to take it off temporarily. Little ball up here. I'm just gonna take this, just like this. And we're just gonna finish off the end and just thin it out at the top, just ever so slightly. That laid a little better. I rounded this corner a little bit. You can pick that up with some sandpaper when you're done. Tool heights here, come up just a little. So this is Easy Wood's bowl hollower. And that's all I'm going to use just to flare this top to make it comfortable to drink out of. I'm not going to go down in there too far. You're just kind of making it appear that it's not so thick. Light cuts now. You're riding just on that 3/8 bolt. Just going to slowly work your way in there. Tool off control. Canting this tool just ever so slightly. You can see that I'm getting a little vibration because it's hanging out so far. Tool rest just as close. It'll help a little. Just a little bit more out of there. We'll have it done bottle stop. Or at least cutting lines. Any questions so far?
No, nothing so far. Everybody's waiting till you're done, I think.
Okay. So basically, that's the rough shape. Now it's just a matter of finishing it up, sanding it out. Make sure you get your chips out of there. So I built some little sanding sticks for the demo. A lot of times I use my finger, but I know that that's not the safest way of doing it. So I built myself some little sanding sticks. We'll see how they work. I'm going to sand this at about 400, between 400 and 500. I'm just going to So I'm starting out with 220 grit, just to take any tool marks out. The drill doesn't leave you much for tool marks, so it leaves pretty smooth finish. And you really can't see the inside that well anyways. Unless it's a real transparent blank, then you might be able to see the inside. That's 220. A little piece of paper towel, shut this off. Make sure I got any grit out of there. It might have got stuck in the bottom. I'm going to do 320. Gotta get used to this speed controller. I'm just going to sand the inside again more. Keep it out. Switch to 400.
That's a safe way to do it. You can make larger ones like that for larger hollow forms as well, or boxes.
Yep. Just make sure when you go between grits so that you're wiped out the inside, because it likes to build up in the bottom. I'm just going to take a piece of sanding screen, which is 600, and that'll be the last step for the inside. I'm just going to sand the inside with 600. The screen's nice because it doesn't clog up like sandpaper. You can knock it free. Blow it out with an air hose. Normally I'd be wearing a respirator for this. You wouldn't be able to hear me talk then. Okay. I'm going to do a little plastic polish on the inside just to give it a little shine. And smear it around in there with the paper towel. And this stick doesn't have anything on the end. Put a drop more of that in there. Now I'm going to spin it up to about 1,000 RPMs to polish. And that's, the inside is now done. It's nice and smooth. See if I can set the camera where you can kind of see in there. So it's pretty smooth in there. There may be one or two small ridges in there. I can barely feel them, but you can't see them. sometimes it's the resin. This coloration, the white stripe in this resin, sometimes will give you that effect that it feels like there's a lump in there, but there really isn't, because as soon as you get away from that white streak or that other colored resin, it goes away. So now we'll polish the outside quick. Let's start with 220 again. So when I do the outside, I'm going to put my backpack on. Bring this back up, move this out of the way here. Just to give it a little support while I'm polishing. I don't want to break that off. Now that you got it almost done, you're ashamed to break it.
You would.
So
it's a pretty collar.
So I have a fan that's up behind me on the wall up there. It blows the dust away from me when I do this. So even when I got a mask on, I'm blowing the dust towards the camera. You guys will be able to see that. And I do that with everything. That's why that fan's mounted where it's mounted. It also helps when I have my dust collector chute up here, it blows it into that chute. Now I'm just going to sand this off to make it smooth. You don't have to go crazy nuts with the speed on this either. You can see how fast it fills the sandpaper. Right around 500 RPM, plus or minus. Turn around this corner off a little bit. Make it smooth. You can also polish the bottom here a little bit when you're doing this. Nothing more boring than sanding, but hard to show you the finish without doing this part. I'm going to speed it up again, a little faster this time. The biggest thing about when you're sanding this now is you don't want it to get hot. If it starts to get hot, you're melting it, and that's not good. You'll never get the scratches out of it once you start melting it. And that's why I use my finger on the bottom. I can feel it through the sandpaper when it starts to get warm. I either move the sandpaper or stop. Pull the sandpaper away and let it cool down quickly. That was 220. Give it a wipe down. Looks like it's got scratches in it, but it really doesn't. I'm going to do some 320. The other nice thing about this foam ball being on here, you can rub your fingers on it. It's not going to hurt you. Doesn't burn. I need a piece of 400. Again. If you notice those two white lines I had up here when I first touched this, melted the resin. What this resin is on here actually got hot and made a streak. You got to be careful when you do that. It'll come back off, but it does leave a line in there. Ridge of melted plastic. Like to do it right there where the transition is. Give it a wipe again. Now we're gonna give it a little cross sanding. This is 600 Avernet, I guess you would call it. One of the brand names. Now we'll come back with the car polish.
You bumped your camera out of the way, Scott.
Sorry. Here we go. Is that better?
Yes.
I've been using that brand of polish for years. I love it.
I started out using McGuire's 105 car polish, and it's a little grittier. It has a little more cutting action. So if this had some pretty deep scratches yet at this point after 600, I'd use the 105, and then I would go to this for my finish. This is, I don't know what's in it, but it doesn't have much granulation to it. It's pretty thin. Doesn't cut really, it polishes. It's made for cleaning headlights on cars, I believe. What they really sell it for. Now I'm going to turn this up to 1,000 again and buff this off. You can see the instant shine right off the bat. And this is just regular paper towel, Bounty paper towel. You can make these as shiny as you want. Personal preference.
Me like shiny.
That's pretty shiny.
Sure
It used
is.
to go all the way. it used to go all the way through the different grits, like the micro polish stuff. And since I started using this plastic polish from McGuire's, I don't even do that anymore. I don't wet sand them anymore. It's just so much faster and easier just to do it like this.
Less mess too.
That is good.
A lot less mess.
Way less mess.
So now I'm just going to unscrew this. I'll just clean that off with some alcohol or mineral spirits later to get the glue off. Let's talk about bottle stoppers for a minute. So when you're doing whiskey bottles, get my little white table. Believe it or not, there are different size throats in whiskey bottles.
Yep.
So this is a standard screw top bottle. This would be like not a premium whiskey, but like a middle grade whiskey that would have a cork. And then this is a top shelf whiskey like Scotch or some imported whiskey.
Pull it back towards you.
How's that?
There we go.
So this is the standard size, the screw top bottle. This would be the next shelf above that. It may have a cork, it may not, but usually they do have a cork. And these would be like your Scotch bottles. Imported Scotch, your very expensive, like your $50 to $100 bottles of premium. So they're different sizes. So when you order these from Ruth Niles, they're different. The numbers are different. So 10 is the smallest and 30 is the biggest. So it goes 10, 20, 30. So I just stock them however, and usually have a bottle. If I'm selling these at a show, I have the 3 different size bottles there so people can see what size bottles they may or may not fit in. And I usually give them a card. And if they get home and it doesn't fit their bottle, I make arrangements for them to either ship me the stopper back and I ship them the new one, or if they're local, I'll hand deliver it.
As an example, the lower grade would be a Southern Comfort or Yukon Jack bottle. The middle one would be a Jack Daniels, and the top one would be a Macallan or a
Black Label, 30-year-old Black Label.
Yep.
So, and then just to put it on, I'll use the one that's already out of the package.
So we're talking about good Scotch.
Right. And by insetting that just a little bit, you know that's going to screw on tight. And actually that one, you can't even see the crud that I had on the bottom. It disappeared when I put the base on it. And I think this is a 20. So that's my demo. Any questions?
Just an awesome job, man. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, Leonard wants to see you test it. Let's go for it.
I have some Everclear in the shop, but I'm not going to drink it.
I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I use Everclear to make my shellac.
Yep.
Are you going to SWAT?
I wish I was, Dean. I really do. Hopefully next year. This is my first year on retirement, so I'm getting used to getting paid once a month.
Boy, can I relate to that one.
And I tell you, that's quite a change when you're used to getting a bi-weekly paycheck, and now you only get one at the first of the month.
Yeah.
Amen. Yeah. Amen.
It's taken me about a year to get used to having bills paid on time or when they should be paid. So this is the fourth. This is the fourth piece made on this lathe. So, and I'm loving the speed control. I I love my
spend more time down there.
I love my mini, but this new lathe being able to speed stuff up and slow it down is fantastic.
It is. It's a game changer, isn't it?
Sure is.
Well, Scott, you did really good because you he is your enemy when you're playing with that plastic. And you did very well explaining that from the drill bit. And I'm glad you said that drill bit will never touch anything else except that resin. It's not, didn't go back into the drawer where you might be able to tomorrow drill out a fence post with it. It is reserved. And if you don't want to work your butt off, that's what you will do. And the polishing, good idea. I got away from using all those little wet, scrubby things a long time ago when I found that polish, because I can go to 600 and polish the heck out of it, and I am very happy with the finish. Where you are right now, you're happy with that finish, and you didn't spend a ton of time. You didn't have to wet sand it, and you came up with something that's, if you were selling those pieces, looking at the time involved in what you generate, that became reasonable. You taught us how to do it, and you turned that out in a very good amount of time. Now, I think that was a fantastic demonstration, very detailed, very detailed.
Scott, can you hold the bottle of McGuire's up? There's a couple questions asking what it was. There's an opportunity for you to screenshot the screen when he holds this up. So it's McGuire's Plastics.
It's available at Riley's Auto Parts and that one that got the big orange stuff on the side of it. Auto Parts place.
I'm sure Bass has it too.
AutoZone. Advanced Parts.
And you can get it at Harbor Freight, believe it or not, because that's where I bought this bottle.
And it's even available on Amazon.
Yeah,
but you'll pay more for it at Amazon.
Yep. You'll pay more for it in the auto parts store than you will at Harbor Freight too, by the way.
I paid $7 for it over at Walmart.
Yeah, and you can get it at Walmart too. They have it at Walmart too.
Yeah, good stuff. That's what I use as well, Scott.
But think about how much you use, folks. That will go a long way. Because we're talking drops.
I'm only using about a pea-sized drop is all I'm using.
Yeah. And it works great. Yeah. And you use it with paper towel. I'm glad he said that. Paper towel. The only rags that come to my lathe are on my back.
So then if I want to polish even higher, I'll ditch after I'm done with the paper towel, I'll just put the wax on my finger and use my finger in the wax against the acrylic for a even finer finish, because there is no abrasive action coming from your skin where there is coming from the paper towel, which is around 800 to 1,000.
Right.
And there is a question, Kelly, Scott, about what lathe you have. If you could talk about that briefly.
So I bought a 1640 this spring. It's got a 16-inch swing, 40-inch bed without the extension.
A jet, right?
It's a jet. Yes. Yep, 1640 jet, and it's super quiet. I don't know if you guys could even hear it when it was running.
No, you couldn't hear it.
So one more thing I want to talk about before I stop for the night. Ruth Niles does sell these little bushings that are for the bottle stoppers, for the whiskey bottle stoppers, so you get the right, if you wanted to turn them right down so they match exactly the size of the stopper. So they come with the part of the kit that you can order from Carl Jacobson now, I guess. He still runs it under Ruth Niles' name because I just ordered some stuff and that's how it came. Same with the inserts. I ordered my inserts from him, and he has stainless steel ones and he has brass ones. The brass ones are through, drilled all the way through. like this. They got a through hole instead of a dead man hole. So if you wanted to use them for, I bought these for ice cream scoops and things like that. So because they have a longer shank than a bottle stopper usually. So just some other tidbits for you.
Info. Good info.
That's all I really have, unless there's more questions.
All right, anybody else got anything? Going once, going twice? No, we're going back to our fearless leader, Eddie.
That was a good demo. And he's right. Ruth Nile sold her business to that outlaw in the Northwest, Carl Jacobson and Robin, which a really nice couple, and they run a good business. And those parts are made by one of the finest machinists I've ever met in my life. And that's Homie. And they do good work, really good work. They do inserts and all kinds of stuff. Enough commercial. All right, but that was good. Now, what you saw there, folks, was an idea and technique. And that's what we push here, technique. I talked about them drilling with a particular drill bit, not to go touch anything else. No, that bit, if that was my drill bit, when I took it out of there, I'd put a wrap of blue tape around the end of it. The sacred blue tape, the stuff that keeps from, we'll put it on everything. And put it away, because that drill bit was going to be used only for acrylics. Same thing for the drill bits I use for drilling my 12-cent ink pens. They only touch the material I'm going to drill for the acrylics, etc. If you touch something else with them, just send a little burr or make them walk, make them groove, make them tear up. He covered that part really well. The other thing is to stabilize it. I love those little balls from Walmart to go play in the yard. It's like a dead man. I'd made those dead mans for years to screw onto a revolving center so you could put something on it, insert it, and keep it stabilized. Remember, if you keep it from moving, you can get a better cut, smoother cut, better thing. He had no vibration. Did you see that? The harmonics never set up on that piece to where it was dancing. And that will happen if you go wild-ended and not stabilize it. Good tip, great tip, Scott, on doing that. And then the sanding.
So Eddie, so what my drill bits go into is this box right here.
That's a nifty. You see?
And if you buy quality drill bits, they come in boxes like this.
All right.
Yes.
And it's important to take care of it. It's like, don't throw it in a box with a bunch of other ones. They're just as hard as it is.
There's the branded drill bit that I just used. So if you want to screenshot that, anybody.
Yeah.
And they're pretty reasonable.
Okay. All right. Hey, you know what? Something you got that new lathe, and I like it a lot. You got to get that special attachment for it, though. The
what's that?
The Worldwide Wood Turner sticker.
Soon.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I'll be sending you a note soon.
Yeah. You know what? Email me an address. We'll see what we can do for you.
Not a problem. I'm glad to pay for them. It's not a problem.
We got to decorate those lathes, man. We got to let folks know where we at. And by the way, Carl Jacobson is a supporter of ours. He is a member. He's got our sticker up on a wall in his shop. And Doug Miller said he gave us gave Carl a sticker when they were at AAW, and that's what we're doing at Spot, passing out stickers to get our name around, let folks know who we are. If you got something from gallery tonight, throw it in demo. Throw it in chat. We'll get to you. We'll call on you. Take a look at your piece. Get your pieces with you. If we're going to do demo tonight, if we're going to do a gallery tonight, let's go to, let's be ready. This is, I got something. Wait a minute. I got to go run across the hall and down the room. And, no, get your piece in. Come on, get proud. get those pieces out and get them ready to go, and let's get moving on. I'd love to show you the pieces that I just got done. And remember the deal. Here's the deal. We have no but guarantee. No matter what you show us, no matter what it is, how it came out, what's your ideas or anything else, we cannot say I like that but. The but can't work. We'll mute you out. You cannot, you're not qualified. You are not qualified to critique our work. We don't want it. We want you to see the beauty of our work. We want to see what creativity you came up with. I mean, he just came up with a double shot, single shot bottle stopper. Nifty idea. You can play with those. Let's take it a little bit further. What else can you do to a shot to those bottle stoppers to make them interesting? And when you go to a party this fall, you're going to go to Thanksgiving. You're going to go to Christmas, New Year's. You're going to be at a party where there will be some alcohol and somebody might have some left over. Not if you go to Dane's house, because there won't be anything left over. I mean, we just, we named off the top 10 brands of scotch in the world.
Right.
But when you go to the house, if there might be something left over, you can leave.
I have the cheap stuff for people that come over.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right.
Yes, I do.
Divine wine. But you can always leave back something that you made from your shop. And it's a nice gift to leave to your host. And it's,
Hey, Eddie,
it's special.
You know what's another good bottle stopper design?
What's that?
The one that you made years ago and you have a YouTube video on. And then the one I made about 3 years ago here for the club as a demo, our hidden compartment where you put your hangover medicine at.
The hidden pill. I learned that from my mentor, Obi Lacoste. He showed that at a demonstration, 20 years ago. And he was a great storyteller, and he was telling a story, and everybody's listening to a story. I'm watching this thing that's on the lake out of a chunk of a dude. Watch it, man. This is, and he put Obi shine juice on it to finish it off. I'm thinking, y'all might have heard about that man's whatever, but this is, and it's a fun project. If you haven't seen it, it's still on the internet for me. I think
it's on the internet for all of us. It's on our webpage for mine.
Oh yeah. So you want that? It's called the Hidden Pill Bottle Stopper, and it's a fun little thing to bring folks. Yeah, and if you bring it to them, make sure you put 2 aspirin inside. Doesn't work unless you have 2 aspirin inside. But those are fun little projects. Always a room stopper, and it's a fun little event. And what do you have invested? A chunk of wood in a stopper. And don't go cheap on those stoppers. There's some people out there that say, "Oh, I can beat that price." Remember the thing about getting what you pay for? I trust what Ruth Niles has produced. She modified her business to do just that. And Robin and Carl have just followed that track. And the gentleman that puts them together for it, Paul Holmes, is an awesome mechanic, and he's modified all that stuff to be perfect. I mean, there's nothing different about it. But fun demo. We're looking for other demos of sort. All right. We said this a couple of weeks ago. Holidays are coming up. You're a grandfather, you're an uncle, a godfather, or whatever. You're going to have the little kids come over. How about this? Suppose you made them a whistle. All right. Now, think about this now. I'm a grandfather. I'm a great grandfather. My belief in life is if Dexter comes over, I'm sending him home something with his mom that he can make noise with after I give him a can of Red Bull. Kind of make my day. I mean, a 2-year-old, 2.5-year-old going, "Hey, Mom, hey, yeah, look what big guy gave me. Look what big guy gave me." Yeah. So we're looking for some stuff like that for turning projects, and it's always good.
We always knew you were cruel.
That's not cruel. That's payback.
Yes,
Hey,
it's
I
payback,
remember those kids.
right? That'd be
You know,
great.
I got a story to tell you one day about my youngest child becoming a Smurf, and I'm not kidding you. But we're looking for projects like that. Demos. Earlier, we talked about Bob doing a little demo with that, the torch and the shellac. We're looking for short demos. You don't have to do an hour-long piece. You don't have to have a studio. We just watched Scott do for us tonight. We shot on a iPhone or Android or whatever. All right. They can all be produced. They can all be produced. Yes, sir.
That was a cheap camera from Logitech that I got off of eBay for $50.
All right, there you go. And it worked. Hey, I liked it. It was beautiful. The color of the resin was awesome. The detail was great. I could see the scratches and lines that you told us weren't there. I mean, I could see them all. But it was really good quality. And look, we see Doug Miller does a presentation each week, shot something very similar. We have other presentations. Don't be overwhelmed by thinking we have to go to these 3, 4, 5 camera things with all the switchers. Those are nice. And we have some IRD producers that are members of our club that do programs like that. That's great. But we're looking for you, our members, to step forward and show us what you came up with. And you all have something in your pocket. You all have an idea. I mean, the scary part is we open the door and say, we want to see tips and tricks. And if we do that, we got to make sure we don't have Jim Duxbury in the background, because all of a sudden he comes in and overwhelms us with a million little ideas of things. And you sit there and think, why didn't I think of that? And that's what we want. We want you to tell us about it. You know, that little Nerf ball we saw. That might be a Nerf ball, but a little ball we saw in Scott's demonstration just now. Those are ideas that you guys and gals come up with. You pop up with these things. Don't be greedy. Share them with us. I think we got ready for some gallery. It's about 20 minutes after the top of the hour. I'm Captain Eddie Castle, and you're with WorldwideWoodTurners.org. We're having a good time on Wednesday evenings. We invite you and your friends to join along with us. If we can help you in any way whatsoever, you can put the request in the chat. We do address it. We do get back to you. We do respond. This is your club. And who do we have for gallery?
Well, for namesake, we got Mr. Duxbury. Hey, Jim.
I said his name and he came up.
Oh my God, you scared me. Last week I did 3 workshops, and one of them we made kaleidoscopes. This is a canary and bloodwood, and it's got a cradle for it. It fits underneath there.
Is that a new one, Jim, or one he was working on last week?
No, this is a new one. Made 9 of them since then. I'll do a video. In a kaleidoscope, there's objects in the end, and there's a set of mirrors down the middle, and an eyepiece in the end. And this has a triangular, equilateral triangle in it. So you could probably see some of this stuff in here.
Yeah. Sure can.
Whoa. Like flipping back to the 60s again.
Yeah. Anyway, this is what you're looking at. This is one of the object boxes. This is glass and things. This is just a piece of junk I put together. But the pieces are floating in oil, glycerin oil. And this is similar, but this is called a dry box. And this has screws on the end of it, so you can take this apart and put anything you want in here. But anyway, it flops. It doesn't flow like the other one. It's just flopped. And also, I found out after cleaning it many times, that's a natural grinder, and it builds up dust. Oh, I cleaned it like 47 times. I couldn't figure out why the dust was getting in there. But anyway, I have to do a screen share now. I can show you what I did from there.
Sure.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a kaleidoscope, the same kind of thing. This is a triangle of mirrors, and this is my cell phone on the end. If you make a kaleidoscope without objects, it's called a teleidoscope. Anything you look through this and see in the primary mirror, you'll see reflections of that all out the sides. So this is how it's held on. It just takes my cell phone real nice. It's got a clear glass over the end of it just to keep the dust out and things. The mirrors are in here. These are first surface mirror. The silver's on the top of the glass. You can't use a regular mirror. It's a terrible kaleidoscope. You're looking down the side of the mirror. You see the green of the glass, the silver behind the glass, and a reflection off the top. It's a terrible kaleidoscope. Anyway, anything you point, this is where the camera goes, my cell phone. Anything you point this at now is going to take a picture with that in the center. Here's my wife in the center. She loves to do this, by the way.
That's pretty cool.
But that's her in the center with reflections all the way around. That's the primary triangle. If she'd have been perfect, the reflection out this side would have been one side of her and the other side would be over here. But you can set this up and take pictures of your work. Here's a lighthouse she just took. I'm sure these can be expanded somehow. But there's the lighthouse in the middle. And these are all reflections of things off of that. Okay. Now, if I can stop the share. Now, by taking the kaleidoscope on the stand and holding the object box in front of it, I can show that on the cell phone. And I have to tell you, while I was doing this, there was some music on the radio, so I shook this thing to the music. So there's no end to what we can creativeness here. This will be good if I can make it work. What happened here? Wait a minute, let me get rid of this one. Screen share stopped. I'll do it again. Need sound, this should go. I practiced this, damn it. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, now I'll start it. Anyway.
Like crazy, man.
Yeah, really.
Should you be playing some Grateful Dead with that?
Exactly.
The clicking is me bouncing the object box against the kaleidoscope.
Now, Jim, how are you doing that?
I'm just holding with the object box, one of these object boxes against, instead of taking a picture of like that lighthouse, I'm holding this and turning it against the end of it.
Oh.
Okay. No end to the fun. By taking that kaleidoscope, having my camera in one end and turning this on the other end, I can make that happen. Does that sound good? That's how it was done.
That's nice, Jim. Looks pretty.
Very nice.
Hey, Jim. Jim, how you doing? First of all, I want to introduce myself. My name is Al Dawson. Every once in a while, you hear me blurt out things. I'm so sorry at times.
No,
I'm
thanks.
I'm the fella that was asking you last week about how you attach the the piece of
Yeah.
onto the shaft where the
And here?
where the
Yeah.
mirrors are.
Yeah.
How now you said a screw and a washer. And you said to have a groove on both sides, on the male and the female, to have a groove, right?
There's a groove in this, in here.
In the male part.
In here, in the barrel.
Okay, in the female part.
And there's a screw goes in the end here where the washer hangs over the side of that. Goes into that groove.
Into the shaft of the body.
Cool.
Goes right into this. Yeah, it goes right into the body here.
Yeah. Okay. I saw earlier when you showed where there were 3 screws. I figured that's what it was. That's a great idea, Jim. I mean, I've got, I think, 7 things around here that I need to show you because of you.
Oh.
I've got oh my goodness.
Oh, this can get bad.
Yeah. Hey Jim, are you still supplying Nellie Bly?
No, I have years ago, but I don't even know if they do it anymore.
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah, they've got some of my stuff. I've got these things all over the world.
I've got a couple of my buddies, Jim, that we've been
that's a ball.
We've been doing them, and we played around for about a month and a half this past summer, and that's one thing. Now, because of the spheres that didn't make it, I'm sorry.
No. I'm gonna take a set of balls to swat. I'll have a set of them. I think I got a set of those. Yeah.
With all the spheres that don't make it, well, they make
Oh, good idea.
you know.
I could make more than one of those. I have a couple of those around here too.
Oh my, so many, you know. And there's been so many things that well, the Kaleidoscope that. Anyways, Captain, thank you so much. I keep looking at all you guys, you're all Beatles to me. So I'm kind of nervous here, but thank you so much. And I enjoy myself every Wednesday. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you for
It's
joining
always
us.
a pleasure seeing you, and it's always a pleasure seeing you comment on the Facebook page as well. I appreciate it.
I'm nervous as hell right now. But anyway.
And you're here amongst good friends, buddy.
Oh man, hey, I can't wait for sitting down on a tailgate. Here I am. I put my leg right
awesome.
here.
That's how I feel. Here before long, I'm going to begin starting the meetings at 2:00 my time.
Hey, we can have one every other day. It would be okay with me.
Never mind.
But anyway,
I could do an at everyone, and I bet we could get 50 people on.
I've been inspired to do so many things. I've got 3 or 4 Cade Bulgers things going on here. But anyway, I just want to introduce myself. I've been hesitant to. I've been following about a couple years now. But anyway, thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you later on.
See you now.
Welcome to the group.
Yeah. Thanks for coming.
Well always nice to hear from a new member. Always. All you have to do is say hello, folks. Great to see you, Albert. Great to see you joining us and join in. Who opened the door?
We know that.
We got trouble now.
Oh man.
Got the beast from the swamp.
He popped in when Billy Brett was bopping around on that music. That's when he jumped in.
Okay. Yeah. Well, last year when I was at SWAT, the Houston club was there, and they had two lathes down there at the mezzanine, and Paul Milo and another guy was helping him out, and they had these sweet gum blanks, and they let you rough them out and take them home. Well, I finally got around to turning mine, and this is
whoa,
nice, very nice.
Wow.
There was, I believe, I had video of him rough turning that big thing. It was huge.
I think you do.
That I put in my SWAT synopsis video last year.
I put an oil on there, a food safe oil, and I'm not finished. I may get some shine out of it. I don't know. I may not with what I'm using. So
that looks great, Joaquin.
I love sweet gum. It comes out like plastic. I mean, it comes out so sweet.
This is the first one I've done. But this guy, Pilot, Paul Milo, he donates those to SWAT, hollow form. And my wife won this baby is as smooth inside as it is on the outside. There's not a single tool mark on it.
Wow.
Nice. Very nice.
And it's dyed. But this is his style. I'd love to go to his shop and see what he uses to.
Did Paul do that one?
Yeah, especially how he sanders the inside if that's so smooth.
Okay.
Joaquin, is that one Paul did?
Yes, that's one Paul did.
Yeah. The man is unbelievable.
Yes, he is. And it's only a 1/4 inch thick, maybe a 1/4 inch to 5/16 wall thickness. He says a lot of sanding. Okay, now the saga, the rest of the story with the lattice work. Mr. Jim.
Oh.
So I got a wild hair last night, and I thought, well, I ought to glue a dark wood and a light wood together and do this so you can see. So I'm not finished with this because I'm kind of messed up. So you can see it's a white wood and a mesquite back here on the back side. And so on the inside, I've turned the circle. And then I was going to do 3 of these.
Fabulous. Yeah.
Now this is a jig I made between the duck's jig and Paul's jig. And but if you look real close, big dummy, I didn't do my work, lay this thing out till after I cut this. So I got this ring. Look, this ring's going to be in the rest of those rings. If I continue that diameter and stuff, and I'll be able to rotate this 60 degrees at a time to
maybe
same thing.
Joaquin, maybe you could do asymmetric ones. Maybe instead of doing 4 rings on the next one, just do 3 or something.
That's what I'm doing here, just 3.
That's 3,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I see the pencil marks here.
Yeah.
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 You may have to do 2.
He does his paperwork first.
Yeah, you may have to do 2 on that one.
You can see, I look, I turned it and went ahead. Oh, that'll be okay. It don't go to the center.
Yep.
But these others are going to be into. I'm going to go ahead and do it.
You might work great.
Yeah, go ahead.
The problem with when they come real close together, it shows precision to the nth degree. If you're off a billionth of an inch, it looks like a 1/4 of an inch. You know, they quite 2 of them lap perfect, and the other one almost touches it. And damn, I tell you, I've been there. But that's great. Hey, it's only a piece 2 1/4 of an inch. Throw it out and get another one.
Yeah, I'll finish this, and I've always wanted to make a lattice lid on a box. You know, and so I'm eventually going to get there, Jim.
I'll show you another one. If you take the 2 pieces and put them together, then cut them corner to corner, take the one on this side and put it on the other side.
Yeah.
Then you got light and dark stripes through the blank.
Dang, give us a split screen.
And you get all. do something else. I'll pull one up. Wait a minute.
Yeah,
Put
let me go
Jim
over
up
to
with
you.
Joaquin.
Huh?
Yeah, I will. That's what I was just saying.
Yeah. This is, I've been pretty bored with some of the stuff I've been doing, tired of doing pins and all that stuff. I needed something new and adventurous, and so I'm there.
We have a combination of Jim Duxbury and Joaquin Vincent on right now. Now, if that won't scare you folks, nothing will. And wait, in the background we have Billy Burt playing commentator.
Hey, Eddie.
Yes.
What size shirt?
I'm just asked the boss to check it. I just asked to check it. I'm going to get that to you.
I get it.
I thought it was 2 weeks away. I was my whole, but I'm going to check it and get it for you.
Okay, very good.
But you got the package this week, didn't you?
I haven't got anything yet.
Ooh.
I might have received it today because I haven't checked.
Okay.
I have to show next week. I lost it.
Okay.
He'll dig it up. This is what happens when you do impromptu with Worldwide Woodturners. We do what we have to do what we need to do. And Joaquin came up with an idea. He had wanted and Jim Duxbury had the Ducks jig, the Ducks chuck. That's I got to get the right name on it. And oh, by the way, Jim's Ducks chuck was used in another article in Wood Turning magazine that is out this month. And in fact, he showed us the piece, but the complete article on how to turn that piece is in this month's edition of Wood Turning magazine, which you can subscribe to online and get it and keep it in your iPad like I do. All right, Jim, you're back. What's out?
This is a platter, but it's the same kind of thing. You see how this end is cherry and this end's walnut.
Okay.
This is see how they're laminated together?
Yeah.
Okay. At an angle.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So when you turn this, you get this side is cherry and this side is walnut. This damn camera, you can't see nothing in it. But and you get a half moon through here.
Yeah.
You get a half moon through here of walnut. You can do similar.
Depends on how radical you get with the colors of the wood.
Yeah.
These used to be more prominent. The cherry used to be lighter and the walnut used to be darker, but as they get older, like all of us, it changes. Anyway.
Sounds like another challenge.
Anyway. Yeah. But
I'll do that with the lattice work too, huh?
Yeah, you can do that with the lattice work. Or if you take two pieces and glue them together and then cut them corner to corner and take one piece and put it on the other side of the other one. Here, wait, this is perfect. This is perfect. This is exactly what it comes out. This bowl's got 5 colors, but this is exactly what it comes out.
Okay.
Only you'd be doing with a 2-inch piece.
Yep. Nice.
I don't know where the other one is, but I got one. We did 3 workshops and a demo last week. I lost everything. It's all packed somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, if this was only done in 2 colors, you'd have black and white stripes or whatever, or this is multicolor, whatever. But that's what I'm talking about, kind of.
I understand.
You got it? Anyway, there's no end to the fun. Anyway.
Yeah, amen. Thank you, Jim.
Sure, you're welcome.
Joaquin, we're going to go back to you.
I'm done.
You're done?
Yeah,
Positive?
that was good.
Nice job.
All right. Well,
Thank you.
Thank you again for sharing. And that big bowl you did was spot on.
Oh,
I
thank
can't
you.
wait to see it shined up if you keep adding some more shine to it.
Yes, I'm going to I let it cure to see what it was going to look like cured. And now I'm going
Right.
to start adding more tongue oil,
Yeah.
the food
I
safe.
think it'll get there.
Yeah.
I think it'll get there. It's a
Okay.
beautiful piece.
Thank you.
Yes, very nice.
You're welcome. All right. Let's see.
And as usual, that bowl that Jim showed there at the end gave me an idea.
Yeah, me too.
That's what we're here
All
for. That's what we're here for.
Let's go to Kurt here. Hey, Kurt. Look at that sticker.
Now I see it.
I can't
Oh,
hear
I
you,
like
Kurt.
that.
Oh my, that is pretty.
Oh, man.
Parfix 3408, guaranteed.
Yep, cherry and a little bit of curly maple and a Brazilian ebony for the finial. And yes, it is
Nice.
finished with the Parfix 3408.
Yeah.
Inside and out.
Nice lines, nice detail.
Yes, very nice.
Beautiful.
Another little hollow form with a spalted maple.
Oh, my.
That's
The
cool
base
too.
is English walnut, and this is a spalted maple for the finial.
Nice.
Very nice.
Oh, wow.
Once again, of course, finished with the 3408. That's it. That's all I got.
Very nice.
Stuff.
Beautiful pieces.
All right. Thanks, Kurt.
You got pictures of those on the
All right.
web, on the Facebook?
There you go.
I do not yet, but I will get them on there.
Get them on in. David will put them on our website.
All right. Thanks again now. All right. Let's go to Mr. Hatch. Hey, Tim.
Hey, good evening. So, spent the weekend cleaning the shop out, sort of. Actually cutting a bunch of little squares. So these are 1.75 by 1.75 inch, and concept is to make a bunch of these. So this is just a proof of principle. This is what I called the cross drilled Christmas tree ornament. And basically, I don't drill a hole all the way through. I drill it and stop just as soon as the drill bit is covered, and then I can in place, flowers or anything like that. The other option is to do the typical cross drilled tree ornament. And Walt Wagner did a good video for us, and you guys can see all kinds of different ones. Heather did a really nice video. This particular one just has a little glass ornament inside of it. I went to my local Hobby Lobby and rated them of all kinds of different beads and bangles and all kinds of different stuff. So you can put whatever you want inside those holes. Doesn't necessarily have to be a bird on the wire like what Walt did. But I tried a couple different sizes. So just to give you an idea, this was 1.75 inch, and I drilled a 3/8 inch hole into that block of wood, took it, turned it on the chuck 4 times, and drilled my holes. This one was 1 inch hole. This is 1 1/8 inch, which gives you a little better profile, a little more petite there, a little more light, and that is 1.25 inch. So if you're, depending on the size drill bit, you're not limited to do something big and light and airy. If you're, if you're nervous about the stuff coming apart, and some of this wood that I have, it's all spalted, so it all, it's in various different degrees of decay. Some of it's really super punky, some's not. I stabilize it with 3408. I thought about doing cactus juice and all that, but that seems like a hell of a process for getting these little ornaments done. And I think 3408's a whole lot quicker. One thing that I did notice with my punky wood is, it does tend to blow out sometimes. And when you get a hole there, don't throw that away. That's not a piece of junk. even though it looks like a piece of scrap wood, clean up, you know, that bloom off that epoxy resin and backfill it with the brass or the turquoise or something like that. And you'll have a really, really super cool looking ornament. And, you know, I did a 5-gallon bucket full of all these little scraps, just this size. And I'm obviously going to go up the next size and so on and so forth. So
Yeah.
that could be a future demo. Let me get my shop straightened up first though, but something we can talk about. Oh,
Okay, Tim, that'll work. Thank you.
all right, guys, we'll see you. Thanks.
You're
And
welcome.
we'll see y'all at
All
SWAT.
right. Yeah, I hope
You
y'all
betcha.
have fun.
Yeah, boy, and that's a good fun demo for coming up on the holidays. And we don't want to do Christmas ornaments just before Christmas. We want to do Christmas ornaments early November. Come on, let's do a little planning here,
Right.
because
Good
no matter
idea.
what, think about it. Have you ever given one to somebody and say, well, I don't need that? You know, it's that time of the year, and this is the time that you want to be able to leave a little something behind for people to remind you, besides being a PIA. Okay, that's what you know.
Yes.
That's what we talk about. So we're looking for demonstrations on items as such. Now, earlier this
It's something
evening,
quick and simple.
yeah, and really, it's what does wood turning give us? Instant gratification. You get out in the shop and you knock something out. Like Tim Hatch just now said, you get a piece and something goes bad on it, don't throw it away. That's a palette. That's a way to go. That's an idea. You know, I got some coffee grinds. I got some super glue. I got a few minutes to put it off on the side and I'll get back to it. And you'll come up with things. And that gets you thinking about embellishments and ideas and what you can do. All these projects appear to be a little simple. They appear to be all right, but start playing with the embellishments. See what you can do for burning in lines. See what you can do for hand carving and engraving. Billy Berg showed us his Beads of Courage box tonight that he did 6 panels on. He did it as a stave construction segment piece. And he did some laser work on the outside to do some art on the outside of these pieces. These boxes are going to children who are suffering from major diseases and cancers. And this is helping them to come through their hard times. And these are very special to them. So what Billy did tonight, he had a little engraving on the inside, a little saying on one and a little saying on the other, a little artwork on the outside. He put a little heart and soul in a project that he is now giving away to somebody to help make their day. And you'll see this kind of work at SWAT and other places. It's called Beads of Courage. We encourage that program. Another one we encourage is called Freedom Pens. And that is where you turn a pen, an ink pen. It doesn't have to be fancy. You don't need a kit. In fact, it can be as simple as what I turned for my wife. She likes these little baseball bat type stick pens, and that uses that is a refill out of a Bic ink pen. And I spin this using a 6-inch drill bit as a mandrel. And it's a simple little project. It's a good skill builder. But there's a lot of technique goes into it on how to drill it and hold it and all that. It may seem simple, but as you develop the technique, you'll learn a lot of things of what we talked about tonight about drilling and polishing and finishing and such things that you can stretch out. But Freedom Pens, this can be a Freedom Pen. This can be one. Yes. Doesn't have to be a kit. Doesn't have to have a clip. You're sending Freedom Pens to a troop, protecting your freedom. No matter where you are in the world, who you are in the world, there's a troop protecting your freedom. Send them a pen to thank them for their work and what they're doing for you. And that as a gift, it's for them. It doesn't have to go in a uniform. They sit down at night and write home. They have an office or a desk or a camp or whatever. So let's get in that. Freedom Pants are good, and I heard somebody here locally is asked me this week if I could come up with some more wig stands. So I contacted some of my local turners, guys that used to be in a club with here. See what they can pop up with on a couple of wig stands. And that helps with folks who, like me, who got a chrome dome and they would rather cover it. So if you can create a wig stand, your oncology group in the area will help you out. Be wary when you create them. If you call and say, I have this, and oh, we don't do that, we don't handle that, give it a second try or give it a third try or go over there and visit with them. A lot of times the bureaucracy of what you're dealing with the politics may get in the way. Don't let politics stop you. It's a good, clean thing to do for somebody who has a need. And that's what we're supposed to do. Same thing, everything else we talk about giving away and making and giving to people. It's all because it's coming right out of here, coming out of your heart. And we want to be nice to folks that are around us. Remember what you learned in kindergarten. You get what you get. Remember that?
Hey,
And
Eddie, we got one more gallery item to go to. Let's go to Mr. Harbor.
Oh man, I wasn't ready.
I've been teaching at a local college once a month, and they have a woodworking institute there, and among other things, they do a lot of hand shaping of furniture. I think they're making chairs by hand and things like that. So I'm helping them with their lathe work and teaching students beginning wood turning also. But in the process of that, they throw away the most amazing wood down there. So this is a piece of walnut that I acquired this last weekend, and I just turned it this afternoon. It doesn't really have any finish on it, but it's just so pretty. And
I like that line around the top.
Yeah, this is a wood burn line. It's done with I use picture frame wire, picture hanging wire, and I put it on little handles. We would turn little handles. And rule number one, if you're using any kind of wire on the lathe to burn lines, is that if the lathe wants the wire, let the lathe have the wire. Don't let it take your finger with it or anything else. But the wood is really pretty, and this was just a little wedge, and it's end grain, so the grain's running like this. And I'm a real fan now of how to get the sapwood and the heartwood in the piece, just by by putting it by the way where you put the bowl blank into it. So it's and the guy who cuts up the wood for me was like, just make me a little bowl. I'm like, yeah, I can do that, dude. So that's all I had to show.
Great
Cool.
job, man.
That's
It
nice,
looks
man.
looks far better in the pictures you posted.
Well, the picture I posted was just right off the lathe, and it didn't have any I had a little more sanding to do on it, and it was it's in my shop, so there's dust in the air, and who else? You guys have seen these, right? These little mushrooms.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Curved. I was able to get the color change in here. This has got chameleon dust on it, and this has got chameleon flakes. So you can see it change from green to blue, and this changed from orange to reddish, purplish as I shift it in the light. I was unable to show that before. So anyway, you can hand carve anything and dance it up. Yeah, Tim, you're right. The scraps. You wouldn't believe what I got this weekend. He was cutting up this big piece of wet maple, and it was a whole tree. They get these whole trees, and they weren't going to use the bottom of the trunk, and I could see the ripples in the outside. I was like, there's some major quilting in there. And he's like, you want it? And I heck yeah. So I got I had to haul this wood in from the car Monday morning because I was too tired Sunday night to bring it in the house or into the shop. And it's just it's beautiful, and I have no idea what's going to be inside, but just the little pieces I can see of it is gorgeous.
Right on.
So,
Thanks,
you
Matt.
can see in the little crinkles and the ripples just on the outside of the tree that it's going to have some real pretty quilting or something in it. So
yeah, you can't pass that up.
yeah, I love the bases of trunks especially really big trees. And this thing had to be, I don't know, a good 28 to 36 inches across before they started cutting into it. So yeah, it's
y'all are
like I
blessed.
tell everybody, if I'm visiting your house, the first thing I'm doing is going through your firewood pile.
Right.
Right on.
Yeah, but thanks, guys. Thanks. It's just a little
you're
warm
welcome.
up piece, and it's dry and kind
All
of
right,
funky
Eddie.
on the inside.
That was really nice.
Still have one more.
Yeah, I saw it. Who was it? I saw somebody pop in. Who was it? Clint. Is that Clint?
Yep.
Hey, Clint.
Hi guys, I'll see you next week.
Or can I show one picture?
Clint's got something to show.
What?
Hold on, Clint who?
Hold on. Clint Oil, he's
Oil?
on the screen.
Here's something I made for my mother for her birthday out of black walnut.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Looks good, Clint.
Very nice.
I like it.
For Mama's birthday. All right.
Cool.
Right on.
Fun.
That's
Mine
nice.
is
What
not
type
good,
of
but
finish?
I tried the square.
Well, you kept the
Square
corners
sides.
good. You kept the corners good. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good considering it was an afterthought.
That's
What's
really
the
nice
finish
shape.
on
I
it?
like that.
Yeah. What's that
Yeah, good
finish?
job on that.
Yeah.
I
Thank you.
like it. What was your finish?
Just what is that? Howard's Feed and Wax.
All right.
Okay.
It looks good.
Right on.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back to Mr.
Good
Duxbury
job,
for
dude.
one more.
Okay, I have one more picture, and I'll do a screen share quick. This is taken with a Teleidoscope. My neighbors can't figure out what I'm doing on my hands and knees. And you take a picture of a bug or all kinds of things. You can go nuts doing this, as I've proven. But the dandelion that's centered, so you get the reflections off of that.
Oh.
This is an equilateral triangle. If you put two mirrors and a black side, you would get a mandala. You would get a star. And this is a 60-degree. You'd get a 6-point star with this. Anyway, you can do all kind of mirror configurations, but this is what happens. And that's just one of them. I have pictures of hummingbirds, and I have pictures of bees looking at you, and all kinds of fun things. It's wonderful to sometimes take a picture of your piece centered like that.
Cool.
That's it.
Pretty cool. That's pretty cool, Jim.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Eddie, closing ceremonies.
Some of these things I haven't experienced in 52, 53 years, you know?
Like I said, we need some Grateful Dead.
Hey, that being said,
Bringing back old days in Cameron Bay.
that being said, Captain Eddie, your name came up in our demo, in our club meeting last night. Somebody brought your name up. You guys all know Captain Eddie, right? Well, I watched the demo of him and blah blah blah. And we were doing Themispheres. Drew was doing Themisphere demo. Clint was there, and they said that how awesome it was how you glued your initial pieces where the grain went opposite directions, so that whenever you took it apart and flipped it, then the grain followed on the Themisphere all the way around it. So
really
anyway,
screws up.
came up.
Yeah, it really screws up people's mind when you say, how did you hold this to turn this? And it's the Themispheres are one of those useless little projects to develop your skill, because you will learn precision turning by doing so. The arcs have to be perfect. The layout has to be perfect. This is one where even Joaquin will get out his graph paper and draw it out carefully, because it is all in plotting and planning. And I am a great fan of graph paper and laying things out. And we'll learn. I mean, he knows the hazards right now. Oh, let me see how this works out. Oh, damn, if I'd drawn that out on a piece of craft paper, I wouldn't be, you know. But hey, what do we do? If we don't make a mistake, we don't learn. So we get out and we practice and we play around a little bit. We come up with solutions. Tonight we talked about how to do this, how to hurt it, how to hold it, jigs that are being made, modified, changed, technique differences, ideas, beauty. We're not here to teach art. Trust me, we're never going to try to teach you art. And never, ever will you get a criticism on your work here, because I am here just like you are, just to share information on wood turning and see what you do. So when I go play in my shop, I can do something similar. Maybe never exactly, just similar. And that's why we gather here each Wednesday evening. Bring a friend, tell a friend. If you're going to SWAT, look up the gang. They're going to get together. They're going to raise some hell. They're going to let the rest of the wood turning world know worldwidewoodturners.org is here. And they can be part of this fantastic organization, or lack thereof.
You know what he's talking about, Billy? I have no idea.
No.
No, and y'all behave yourself now. Can't go. Y'all behave yourself.
Come on, don't put that on us, Captain.
All right. And I mean, look, if Grimes is going to be there, we know there's trouble. And I'm looking at faces right now in the gallery, knowing that I will be spoke of because of what went on, what is going on, what's happening, because I'm damn proud of it. I am. Bring it up, talk about it, and raise heck whatever you can, because we're doing what nobody else has ever done, and we're having a good time at it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it.
Absolute fact.
If you're going to get out there, folks, number one, be safe. Number two, come back and share. I'm Captain Eddie Castle on behalf of worldwidewoodturners.org. I thank you so much for becoming part of our group, and bring a friend next time you visit. Until next time, it's time for me to pull my plug, but this doesn't change, because it gets interesting from here on out.
And what's Donald always say?
Bring a friend, tell a friend.
Save the chat.